about 45, I think it was, Darius? Is that what you said?
40 to 45
40
miles
to
an
45. So you can see the list of towns that are in line with that possible tornado. You've got Haydensville, Allensville, of course. Now that's in southern Logan County. You've got Olmsted. That's in Logan County as well. You're looking at about 220 for that to happen. As you get down to Daysville, that's going to be in between Hopkinsville and once you get over between Hopkinsville, Elkton, and then Russellville. So let's go on down the line here. We see Cave Springs. All of that is going to happen in the next few minutes. Darius, give me a little bit of what you see happening with this particular cell and some of the history with it.
Yeah, the history of this cell, it's been producing spin with it, and there's just been, with the National Weather Service chats, there's just been lots of confirmed tornado warnings with this particular cell, and as it continues to work its way from southwest to northeast, we've just been getting where there's been some frames where there just hasn't been much spin, and then there'll be a new frame that will come in, new data that will show spin. So it's just been kind of consistently showing the potential of rotation with this, and with this being a confirmed tornado warning that we're watching for, we're also going to take a closer look and see if we can see any potential debris with this. And so what we're looking at is our correlation coefficient. What this helps us see is if the radar is able to pick up any debris in the air. Typically, when you see something like a blue or just kind of a blue color here where you're seeing this debris ball, and I can draw this on screen.
Can we take that full screen control room?
Yeah, and I can draw this for you to show you.
The Barren?
And this is just south of the Elkton area and between the Trenton area. This is the area where I'm seeing a debris signature that's indicative that we likely have a tornado that is on the ground and doing damage.
Yeah, that's a good point. And see, this is how we deal with, this is a good way to deal with verification. We see from Trenton, you see it there from Trenton on the left-hand side of your screen, all the way up to Elkton. And when you get to Elkton, that's 6880, and then what's coming down in the middle, north to south, that's 181. It is right in that general area. Looks like it's going to go right into Highway 181, just south of the city of Elkton in Todd County. That is where we're seeing that possible debris, or at least the debris signature. Yeah, go ahead.
And I see another one here, Chris. I see two.
Yeah, I do that. Yeah.
Two of these. So there could be two areas of circulation. I pull up velocity. One, this is noticeable here, but there could be another broader area of circulation. So two areas of circulation potentially with this cell. Yeah, is what I'm seeing.
So Noah, you've been watching the reports coming in. Tell us a little bit about what you're seeing on that end, because these winds have been strong all day, and the winds themselves could be problematic. But now that we've got confirmed tornado headed this direction, what are you seeing out there?
So what I'm seeing from the National Weather Service in Louisville, they are saying that the tornado watch will be continuing for all of our viewing area in our counties. And the basic summary is saying that a few of these tornadoes are isolated with severe wind and hail, will continue through the afternoon with storm coverage expected to increase with time. And in addition, they are saying with this broken line of supercells that is still moving through the area, they have upped our severe weather risk to basically say that we're going to be an enhanced risk with an area of a 10% chance of seeing tornadoes. And this also includes the potential to see a strong tornado as well. So that's what they're saying with our environment that we have right now currently.
And, and I just want to add to that, what we've been getting is a warm front that's lifting in. And what that's doing is that's helping, despite the fact that we actually had day with mostly cloudy skies, we have a warm front lifting in. That is just enough to create the instability that we have for these storms.
Well, that velocity scan, if we could come back here to the wall, that velocity scan is pretty impressive as you see it just right there north of Guthrie, and that's going to be right along Kentucky 181. In fact, now we have a PDS on that particular cell. In other words, that's a particularly dangerous situation. We call it a PDS tornado. And so what that means is this is not something that just appears to be something on the radar that looks like a tornado, this is a tornado. And guys, when you look at that reflectivity, go back to the reflectivity.
Yes.
When you go back to that, if you were just to look at that on the radar, you would say, oh, I don't see anything there. But the thing is, this may be a rain-wrapped tornado, which makes it even harder to detect.
Yeah, especially on radar. If it is rain wrapped, it is very hard to see. It's just not right there in your face. And that's really the important part, is to also look at velocity and also look at the other features that the radar has for us. So we're able to actually really look inside of the storm and see where exactly that tornado is.
And it's headed right for the community of Anderson. As you see there, it's going to come, looks like as it's moving northeast, it's going to go right through the community of Anderson, which is south of Elkton. That's southern Todd County. And along Kentucky 181 is where that's going to occur. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to stay, we're absolutely off camera. We're going to stay on this. In fact, we're going to have continuing coverage on the WNKY Facebook page, where you can continue to watch us. And if new warnings are issued, we're here to cover those, and we'll break back in. But we're going to send it back to programming for now, as this is just outside of the viewing area. We just wanted to give you a heads up that that's what's coming, and you need to be aware and prepare, especially if you live in Logan County. You're now under a tornado warning, and eventually that's going to go Butler, that's going to go Warren, that's going to go Simpson. It's all going to continue to move east, and that eventually is going to impact the Bowling Green area, Russellville, Franklin, and so forth and so on. As you see, the line of showers and the strongest thunderstorms are already moving in. So keep it right here at News 40 and on our Facebook page, as we'll do continuing coverage throughout the afternoon. We send you now back to regular programming. Okay.
Okay, tornado warning still remains in effect until 2:45 p.m. for southwestern Logan County. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located over Guthrie, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour.
Yeah. So we're going to continue, those of you that are on our Facebook page, we're going to continue. You'll hear our mics hot. You'll hear us discussing back and forth what we're talking about, what we're looking at. Even though you may not see us on camera the whole time, we're going to keep the radar up there, and we're going to just pretty much do a play-by-play of everything that's going on as you hear us discussing the latest information coming in. Hopefully that's going to help you understand how this is developing. So what are you seeing?
So right
guys?
now, as we go back to reflectivity, where I could see the area of potential rotation is between, say, Allensville, Olmsted, and Daysville. And you can kind of see that if I draw this kind of S shape that you see here on radar. And look, as we were mentioning, it could be a rain-wrapped tornado, most likely, that's working its way through portions of Todd County, and as well as it's about to cross over into western Logan County. Again, Logan County with that tornado warning until 2:45 Central Time. This is all working its way in from southwest to northeast. And like I said, the history of these storms, and this storm in particular, especially into northwestern Tennessee, it had a tornado warning with it, and it's just been consistently spitting out confirmed tornado warning with this storm. That's just the history that it's had as it continues to press in northeastward. So towards the Olmsted area, you want to already be in your safe places. This storm is just now crossing over, starting to cross over across the border there into Logan County, western Logan County this hour. Again, Russellville included in this tornado warning, and Olmsted included in this tornado warning. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show some communities that are in the path of this storm. And again, this is working its way east to northeast. And I'm going to draw this storm track out for you.
I see that inflow notch there.
Yeah, you can,
north of Olmsted.
Yeah,
see the little hole right in the middle too?
Yeah.
You can really see that. And this is all, again, working its way northeast, roughly 40 miles an hour. And again, Olmsted at 215. You got Old Volney at 216, Ferguson at 219, Cave Springs at 222. So these are all within the next, say, 25 to 30 minutes or so, especially towards the Dennis community, where you guys are not actually in the warning, but you guys are in the path of this storm. And again, this storm has consistently been producing tornado warnings. And if this holds together, I mean, we're talking about this continuing to work its way towards the north and east. So this would include, if it does hold together, Simpson County and Warren County.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep really a close eye on this storm as it continues to work its way through the region.
So many of you may not, when we're throwing out some technical things, we're trying to not get too technical, but when we're talking about an inflow notch, we're talking about how the storm itself is rotating enough to just, if you think about like when you have a drain in your bathtub and the energy starts to spin and draw down into that drain, that is actually what's happening in the atmosphere with this tornado, confirmed tornado at that.
Yeah.
And so what it's doing, it's drawing in some of the drier air around it, and then it's wrapping itself around some of that rain that is wrapping around that actual circulation. And so when we look at radar imagery, we can tell where that's happening. And sometimes with the winds out ahead of just east of Olmsted, the winds at the surface coming out of the south and southwest are being drawn into the storm and then up into the storm itself. And then where you see the couplet back there toward Allensville, that is where the actual tornado, so usually when you see these inflow notches, you get it to the right rear of the storm itself is where the tornado is going to drop down. And right now, it is bearing down on the community of Allensville.
And again, it is moving towards the north and east at roughly 40 miles an hour. So I would say if the storm continues to hold together, we got, at least specifically for the Bowling Green area, if this continues to hold together, we got at least within the next hour or so, this storm could bring some impacts to the area. So again, this is why we are keeping a close eye on this storm. It's had a history of producing tornadoes and considerable winds with it as well, and likely, producing damage to trees, power lines.
Oh, and with that said, too, and if there's going to be a tornado moving through your area, prepare. Just be prepared.
And we all know. I mean, when we talk about being prepared for severe weather and being more weather aware, I mean, we are certainly a community that, understands being aware for severe weather. So.
Yeah, and also with the preparedness too, in addition to that, and if you are when you do seek shelter, make sure you put on some shoes, because if there's gonna be broken glass everywhere, some nails, put some shoes on, put on a coat, helmet if you have one, because most of the deaths and injuries that come from a tornado is with flying debris, and then that could hit you upside the head, and that could do some damage.
Yeah, that is the most vital part of your body. That's what you definitely want to do, is protect your head. And as a reminder, when you are in a tornado warning, it is important to do these things. So you want to get into the lowest level of your home. If you don't have a basement, it's best to get in a small interior room, so that can be a bathroom that's downstairs or a small interior closet. You want to stay away from any openings, exterior openings, so windows, doors. You want to, of course, again, protect your head. That is the most vital part of your body. Put as much cushion between you and the surrounding environment as much as you can. And abandoned mobile homes and cars. Those, of course, aren't sturdy when you're talking about the winds of a tornado, just the magnitude that the tornado can have. It's important to be somewhere sturdy, somewhere safe, somewhere that is sheltered. And I mean, the best place to be really is in a basement.
Yes, basement, storm cellar best. The second best is into the interior rooms, like you just said. And if you are caught out on the roads, make sure, if you're able to find like a gas station or anything like that, pull over, hunker down there, wait for the storm to blow over. Or if you have no way of any shelter, do not go under an overpass. It's a big no-no. If you can, just lie as flat as you can in a ditch. But make sure it's not flooded, but still, at the very least, that is the last option.
So yeah, we go back to radar just to show you what's going on. Russellville, you guys are getting in with the rain now, the Olmsted community. This storm is now crossing over into western Logan County, so we're starting to see the storm working its way in. Area of circulation, again, we're seeing it over the Allensville community.
Not quite as tight as it was a few minutes ago.
Not quite as tight, but it is still noticeable.
A good couplet.
So
yeah.
And here's the
Oh,
latest
it just
scan.
enhanced. Yeah.
Yeah, latest scan. So
And just as I said that, then it strengthened. And that's the thing I've noticed so far. Oh, here we go. This
let's
is
see.
a tornado warning for Logan
For-
County.
So it looks like they
and
went ahead and
Warren
extended
County.
that. So as we mentioned,
Simpson
areas like
County.
Simpson County and Warren County, these are the areas that are in the path of this same storm that we're
Okay.
tracking. So, yeah, what you want to do is you want to definitely get into your safe space now, and and take a breather. Just breathe. Understand we're coming up to the just close to the.
There are the
The
sirens.
sirens are
there,
going
but-
off now in Warren County. So when you're hearing that, when you're hearing the sirens, that means it is a tornado warning and that you should be seeking shelter right now.
Immediately.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does
Right
take
now.
in the city of Bowling Green a confirmed tornado that is headed for Warren County. This is way out ahead of the storm, but we still want you to take precautionary measures as we've just been talking about, and we want you to seek shelter right now because that confirmed tornado that is now coming through Logan County is going to go almost parallel with 6880. So it's going to go through Russellville or just south of Russellville, it appears on that track, and then maybe through Auburn and even Rockfield and Browning, and then eventually into Bowling Green. So now we're under a confirmed tornado warning, and that is until 3:15.
And it's saying for our time for Bowling Green to be around here would be 3 o'clock.
Let's put a
3
storm
o'clock.
track on this.
3
So-
o'clock. So we still have, 40 minutes? Yeah.
Moving east around 40 miles an hour.
Okay,
Let's,
Control, could you
put this on here.
come back to me on the, I'll move out of the way so I can come back on the wall here. And we will need to go back on, there we go. We'll need to go back on the TV side. And just tell me in my ear when we're ready to go. So, yeah. So we're talking with our control room and everybody that's at master control because we have, of course, our two networks, CBS, NBC. There's ball games going on, I understand, but this is a tornado warning. It takes priority. And confirmed tornado. This is not radar indicated. This is the real deal. And so we're going to join in progress local programming and get that on. You can see that the guys have drawn out here where that storm is tracking. All right, those of you just joining us, we've been live on Facebook at WNKY on Facebook, but now we're live on WNKY News 40, NBC, and CBS. I'm Chris Allen, along with Darius Mack and Noah Moore. We're tracking a confirmed tornado. Confirmed tornado. This is not radar indicated. This is the real deal. And it's been producing some impressive radar signatures as it moves from southwestern Todd County and southern Logan County, just north of the Guthrie area. Now it's moving just south of the Russellville area and 431, and that same cell is going to track northeast and head toward Auburn, Dennis, Corinth, Middleton, all those communities. We've got Corinth here in the path of that confirmed tornado 236 this afternoon here in the next few minutes. Auburn, you're in the path. 246, about 10 minutes later, that projected tornado is going to come right through. Now, as far as damage reports, we have not heard of any damage just yet, but that may be slow in coming in. And guys, I know you've been tracking some of this and watching the information as it comes in. Have we had any confirmed reports of damage?
Yes, there was a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado located 1 mile east of Allensville, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. So just be ready for it, be prepared, heed these warnings. This is from the National Weather Service. This is a life-threatening situation.
And I'm pulling up velocity, Chris, to show you where we are seeing the tornado and where you're seeing the greens and the reds meeting together. That's where we're getting that velocity couplet. Where those two are meeting is where we are likely seeing that tornado threat. And this looks right over top Lickskillet. This is into Logan County, just southwest of downtown Russellville, and this is also between Olmsted and Lickskillet. This is moving towards the east and northeast at roughly 40 miles an hour. Again, it is going to impact these communities that are highlighted here. So this, again, includes Oakville, Corinth, Dennis, Middleton, and this is all within the next 20 to 25 minutes or so. Middleton at 241, Auburn at 246.
Leave that up there for just a second. Connor, if you could come back to me on the wall, let me see, because we can get a better shot of this way. There it is. And this is what we look for. This is what we call a couplet. This is where the intensity of the winds right around the center of that likely tornado, and we have it confirmed. So what we're seeing here is the bright reds up against the bright green. You just saw it update now. It is right over, that tornado is right over the community of Lickskillet. So that's in the southwestern corner of Logan County, and it's going to take that path off to the northeast. And it looks like it may just cut just south of the city of Russellville. But if you're in Russellville and you're watching us, you need to take shelter right now. You don't need to wait any longer, because this is moving at about 40, sometimes 45 miles per hour to the northeast, and it's showing a bright signature here of winds that are rotating together, very tightly together in this case. The storm could be wrapped in rain, so don't be going out looking for the tornado. It's not going to have that perfect funnel shape to it necessarily. This is going to be wrapped in rain. In fact, there's the radar imagery showing that if you were to look at this, you would say it's just raining hard in that area, but really beneath all of that rain shield is this tornado. Now, how intense it is, we don't know yet, but that looked like a pretty intense cell. And it is, guys, held together pretty good here over the last several minutes.
It has. And this has been a storm that's been consistent with producing tornado warnings. We followed this storm all the way back into northwestern Tennessee.
Right.
And it's just continued to, as it works its way northeast, just continue to hold that, that frame where it's just been producing rotation.
Yeah, and so that's why we say if you're in Russellville, if you're in Auburn, anywhere that you are on 6880 west of Bowling Green, you need to be taking shelter right now. And the reason why Warren County is also under this warning is because it's going to head on up 68 toward Rockfield, and then eventually the Browning community, and then you get into Bowling Green. And so that's going to take several more minutes, maybe 30 minutes or so to get here. But I know this is a crazy scenario, and I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. This is December 11th, a couple of years ago, all over again. Maybe not, but here's the thing. Let's just be prepared and ready for this should it occur. It's kind of following the same path as it did that night. But at least it's not happening at 1 o'clock in the morning, like it did on that fateful day. So we're going to keep an eye on this. We just wanted to let you know. Now we're going to try again to throw this back to regular programming and keep you still informed as we go on Facebook. We're live on Facebook, the WNKY News 40 Facebook page. We are there with continuing coverage. If another warning comes out, we'll break back in. But right now we're going to send it back to regular programming already in progress. All right, so yeah, I know, guys. It's almost like I hate bringing that up, but I mean, it's just, it's crazy.
It's really eerie.
It is eerie to think about. Here we go again, almost to the day from 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 years ago, and it's a day that, I mean, no one will forget here in Bowling Green.
No.
And whenever, I mean, after that day, anytime there is a severe weather risk, now people are just more attentive now, and they're just, it's uneasy.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a severe weather risk here now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're tracking the confirmed tornado, and this is again just southwest of downtown Russellville. Russellville, you need to be in your safe place as you are under that tornado warning. We're going to pull back up our velocity signature here, and you can see that velocity couplet that is just southwest of Russellville. It's now crossed just southeast of Ferguson towards the Oakville area. And again, this is moving east to northeast. You want to find your safe place. You want to be in the lowest level of your home. You want to put as much cushion between you and the surrounding environment as much as you can, and just breathe. Take a breather, say a prayer. Anything helps in these, of course, these intense situations. Again, this is moving towards the north and east. I'm going to pull back up storm track here just to show you those communities that are within the path of this storm, so you guys are better prepared and you guys are more aware on where the storm is and how far away it is from you within terms of minutes here. So that's the thing to do. Corinth 237, so that's within the next 10 minutes or so. Dennis at 241, Auburn at 247, Turnertown at 249, South Union at 252. And again, the tornado warning does include Simpson County as well as Warren County. So this goes until 3:15 Central Time. So for Bowling Green, that gives us another, say, 45 minutes or so, where this tornado warning will be continuing for us, 45 minutes to an hour or so, where this tornado warning continues for our area. Again, these communities, Turnertown, South Union, 252 Turnertown at 249. These are the areas where you want to already be in your safe place, because this storm, confirmed tornado, is moving in that direction. And this storm has been consistent with producing a confirmed tornado warnings. I mean, this goes, again, all the way back to northwestern Tennessee, where we were watching this storm. Storm now crossed over towards Christian and Todd counties. Now it's crossing over into Logan County, and we're going to continue to watch the storm work its way towards Simpson and Warren counties. Again, southwest to northeast. What were you saying, Noah?
I was going to say, one thing that I've noticed about this storm in particular, when it was getting its act together in northern Tennessee, it had just a few reports of tornadoes touching down, going back up, touching down, going back up. But this current situation has been real consistent all the way through Allensville, Lickskillet, just now through south of Russellville. And it looks like it seems to be going over some semi-rural areas at the current time, but as it's nearing closer to Russellville, it's going to go into more populated areas. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and again, so just find your safe place. Again, that is going to be the lowest level of your home. Preferably if you have a basement, that's the best place to be. If you don't have a basement, maybe an interior closet or a bathroom. And put as much cushion between you and the surrounding environment, whether it be a mattress, a lot of pillows, blankets. Get you and the gang all in a safe place right now as you are under that tornado warning. Latest scan, we're going to put up reflectivity, and you can see that there's some hail embedded with this storm as well, but these vibrant colors that we're seeing indicative of just the heavy rain that is also associated with this storm. This is headed towards the Auburn area. So Auburn, you guys are getting in with some moderate to heavy rain right now, but you guys aren't getting the brunt of the storm just yet. But that is headed your way, and the Rockfield, South Union communities, Woodburn communities, all included in this polygon where we do have this confirmed tornado warning. So it's, again, a confirmed tornado warned storm moving from southwest to northeast. Putting the tornado debris to see if we can see any
Still there.
debris here.
Yeah, there's something there.
There's something noticeable here to where we've been, and I'm going to run the last few scans here and kind of loop that, and just to show you guys how consistent this has been with the track of this storm, where you're seeing, and I'm just going to kind of draw what I'm looking for, anything that's not uniform with this. So we're seeing all those pinks. That is pretty uniform, but what I'm going to draw here is I'm going to show you this area here is where I'm seeing a debris signature, okay? And notice how it follows through Allensville, where that was confirmed, and it's still noticeable, still present here. So
Yeah.
it's been tracking from southwest to northeast, and that's where we're generally seeing the direction of the storm moving with that storm.
That's pretty evident. I mean, there's no two ways about it. There is debris that is being produced by that tornado. And the Louisville National Weather Service office is saying this is a large and potentially deadly tornado. This is a life-threatening situation. It is not anything that's just noticed by the radar, but we have confirmation of it. And so that's different. That's different than the usual or the typical radar indicated cell. This is a confirmed tornado that continues to show signs of producing debris. Now, how much debris that is, we don't know. And Noah, like you said, it's more over rural areas. Once you get south of Russellville, I mean, it's all farmland pretty much as you head south to the Tennessee border. But nonetheless, that is picking up either field debris or maybe some barns or maybe some kind of structures that tornado is, they say in particular, is pretty large. So we don't know on what scale that is or how fast the winds are blowing necessarily, but we know it does have that signature, and it does have the capability. If your home is in the path of that tornado, it's going to suffer some damage.
Yeah, it's pretty balled up in there in that cell, like you said before, and it's very rain wrapped, so it's going to be very hard to see. Really low clouds, lots of rain. Don't even bother to go outside and look at this. I know there's a lot of looky-loos out there. Be like, and if I don't see it, I don't believe it. But believe this, believe in us, that there is a large and extremely dangerous tornado on the ground.
Confirmed tornado.
Yes, confirmed tornado on the ground, moving to the northeast around 45 miles an hour. So I think it actually gained.
It's picked up
picking
some
up.
speed, yeah, forward motion, and that is probably because of all of the inflow winds going into it, and it's a healthy, as you can see just looking at it on radar. You can see how healthy it is, and even it's got that little comma shape to it.
Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah, it's pretty wrapped up.
Also, I would like to say another thing. I know people say that there's like a lot of myths around tornadoes and things like that, saying it can't go over hills, can't go over water or anything like that, but they can do it. We've seen it here in Bowling Green, one before. They can go wherever they want. It does not matter. It does not matter.
I'm going to pull back up the storm track again. And so we got new data that this is moving faster, I'd say roughly 45 miles an hour. And we're going to put the communities again, Corinth 242. So that's actually that's about 8 minutes or so from now, as it is 235, Dennis 245, so that's in about 10 minutes, Auburn 251, South Union at 255, and then we're talking about areas that are here in Warren County. So we're talking about Browning, Rockfield, Woodburn, that is within the 3 o'clock threshold there. So Browning at 301, Rockfield at 302, Woodburn at 303. Again, these are the areas you want to already be in your safe place. Confirmed destructive tornado is headed your way. You're in the path of that. So again, this is moving from southwest to northeast.
Yeah, the last report was a large destructive tornado was located 3 miles southeast of Russellville, moving northeast at 45 miles an hour, as of right now, from the National Weather Service.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are getting more and more information now that the storm has been on the ground for some time, and it's continuing to move into an environment that is favorable to keep this thing going, especially for those of us that live, southwest of Bowling Green, and I'm including those of you in the path, Auburn and Browning, Rockfield, Woodburn even, as you come up 31W, and eventually Bowling Green and I-65. This is a serious situation. In fact, it is now a PDS tornado, By that, I mean it's a particularly dangerous situation. That's what PDS stands for. It's a red flag, just the best way I can put it. It's a red flag for tornado coverage. In other words, we're not just dealing with what the radar sees, we're actually dealing with a very large and possibly destructive tornado on the ground, and it's headed toward the Bowling Green area. We've received a few reports, the National Weather Service out of Todd County, numerous trees and power lines with barns destroyed, some roof damage. So it's, this is something that has to be taken seriously. This is not something to relax with or say, well, it's probably not going to hit my house. I don't need to pay attention to this. I'm just going to go about my business. This is a serious situation. You heard the sirens going off, the cows here in Bowling Green and Warren County. There's a reason for that, and that's because we do have confirmation of a tornado. So we need to really take this seriously and keep the momentum here going enough to keep you informed, but also make you understand that this is a very serious situation. And unfortunately, guys, that cell that we've been tracking is going into a more favorable environment to keep it going. And there's proof of it right there as you look at that rotation. It looks very, very healthy.
Very, very healthy. And again, this is working now through Logan County. It's headed towards Simpson County and Warren counties. Again, Warren County until 3:15 is where we do have this tornado warning, as well as for Simpson County until 3:15, the tornado warning. The latest scan, as we pull up our reflectivity here, and I'm going to clear all the extra stuff off so we can better see the storm for you. And again, this is south of Russellville. We put up the velocity here, and this is where we are now seeing the rotation. Not quite as defined as the last scans, but we're still seeing that, and that is noticeable just south and east of Russellville, just west of Auburn. And this is actually between Dennis and Corinth this hour. So this is, again, working its way east to northeast, a confirmed tornado on the ground in these areas. And this is headed towards Auburn. And so let's put up our updated storm track here to show you as the storm, again, is working eastward at roughly 45 miles an hour. And with those communities in view, that puts Auburn at 246, South Union at 250, Browning, Rockfield, Woodburn, anywhere between 257 and 3 o'clock is where we're seeing that. Rich Pond at 3 o'clock, Blue Level at 303, Memphis Junction at 304. The Plano community, as well as the Lost River community and Springer community, roughly around 305 to 307. So we're seeing this storm again working its way eastward. These are the areas that are outlined. These are the areas that if you see your community in this list, you want to already be in your safe place right now, because it's not good to just wait for the storm to get there. It's best to go ahead and take cover now and be prepared as this storm works its way through the region. I want to pull up velocity again and show you where we are seeing that rotation. And again, this is between Dennis and Corinth right now. This is continuing across east-northeast. These are some of the roads. So showing Carter Road there, Dennis Corinth Road. These are the areas. If you're familiar with these road names, these are the areas where you're already seeing that rotation, where you're already seeing that tornado, and that is crossing over towards the Auburn area.
Right outside of Auburn.
Yeah, right outside of Auburn, of the Auburn area again. And within, for the Auburn area, you got about 5 minutes, really.
Yeah, if that much.
Yeah, so this is, again, east to northeast. And as Chris mentioned, you mentioned 6880 is where this general path of this storm is moving.
It seems to be following that track, and it's staying parallel with 6880 as you go from eastern Todd County into Logan County and then eventually into Warren County. This is the path of that confirmed tornado. is taking. Again, confirmed tornado warning for Logan County until 3:15. So we still have a little more than 30 minutes left on that, just based on the timing and the path of that storm. I want to give control room a heads up. We've been given the green light to go on our networks live. So we need to, what we're going to do is we're going to rejoin. Those of you watching on Facebook will keep going here, so you can watch on your phone and device on social media. But we're also going to break in our CBS and NBC networks here in just a second, and we're going to go continuous wall-to-wall live coverage. We've been given the green light to do that. So, all right, we're going to make an adjustment here, and then we're going to go live. All right. Thanks for joining us this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Allen here in the News 40 Weather Center. I'm joined by Darius Mack and Noah Moore, and we're tracking a confirmed tornado. This is not radar indicated. This is a confirmed tornado. And because it's been held together for miles, several miles now, up to at least 50, 60 miles, this thing is held together. It's now becoming a long track tornado, and it's been labeled by the National Weather Service as what we call a PDS tornado. That's a particularly dangerous situation, and those are rare. The last time something like this happened, you have to go back to December 11th of 2021, when we had that fateful night in December 2 years ago, almost to the day. Now, at least this is happening in the daytime. We have a little more clarity than we had that night when it happened at 1 o'clock in the morning. But still, even though we're seeing what looks to be on the reflectivity a lot of rain, and certainly there's a lot of rain here, we have some clusters of lightning that's happening. That's also a red flag that we've got something going on. But if any of you live from the Todd County line, from the community of Dennis, just into Logan County, and this is 6880 as it goes through Auburn, South Union, and then into Rockfield. That's where the likely tornado is. And I say that because we keep getting this signature here that is held together for more than 50 plus miles as a confirmed tornado. People have seen this tornado. This is not just radar indicated. It is actually on the ground. It is causing some damage. We're getting damage reports now from parts of Todd County and Christian County. It's been mainly over farmland, but now our concern is it's going to clip the Auburn community, go up 68 to South Union, go into Rockfield, maybe Browning, maybe Blue Level. Now we're getting into kind of the metropolitan Bowling Green area. We start to see Three Springs and Plano, and there's the city of Bowling Green and Plum Springs. It's on that particular path, and that is why we're now under a tornado warning until 3:15, a confirmed tornado. Here's your listing of the cities and times. Darius, if you could bring that in screen just a little bit more to the right. Yeah,
Yes.
that little timer box there. It's getting cut off on this particular screen. I want to make sure everybody sees that. There we go. That's a lot better. Thank you. Auburn at 2:47. I mean, that's practically right now. I mean, it's right on your doorstep in Auburn. Okay, seek shelter now. Don't wait. South Union 2:51. The Petros community 2:56. Browning, we talked about you 2:58. Rockfield just before 3 o'clock. Now, these are approximate times. This is not exact. So don't think, well, I've got still 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes before I need to take shelter. No, don't go outside. Don't try to find this thing. It's wrapped in a lot of rain. It is not going to be that visible. It may be just you hear the roar as it comes in with the winds, and then it's too late. So don't wait for that. This is to help you time it out. Blue Level 305, Memphis Junction. Now we're getting right there where I-165 and 431, 231, and 31W, all of that comes together. Lost River, Spring Hill, you get into the Three Springs community. Plano, 10 minutes after 3. Possibility of that tornado coming by your way. And guys, this is the thing that we want people to understand. The word confirmed, we did not write that in. That is coming from the National Weather Service. That is coming from verified reports of this particularly large tornado that could be rain wrapped, and it could be causing a lot of damage as its path continues off to the northeast. In fact, guys, we've had several reports of that happening.
Yeah, reports, and this is the same storm. It's been consistent with producing confirmed tornado warnings. The storm goes all the way back to northwestern Tennessee, where we saw that confirmed tornado warning, and it's just been consistently tracking from southwest to northeast. And we've just been seeing with velocity returns, we've just been consistently seeing rotation with this storm. And again, confirmed tornado. It's an actual tornado on the ground doing damage, working its way through the area. And right now, where we're seeing that rotation is towards the Auburn community, and it's approaching towards the South Union community. Again, it's working its way into northern Simpson County, and it will eventually cross over into western Warren County. And the communities of Warren County, Browning, Rockfield, Rich Pond, these areas, Petros, these are the areas, Woodburn, these are the areas that you want to be in your safe place right now. And this also includes downtown Bowling Green as in that warning polygon as well.
And no, I'm seeing there the report coming in from Olmsted community in Logan County. Tell us about that.
Yeah, in Logan County, they had a 911 caller center. Dispatch reports several houses and barns damaged near Olmsted, Kentucky.
Yeah.
As of 3/18. As of 3/18.
So there you go. I mean, more verification that this is an actual tornado that is producing damage, and it's really starting to show that it's gaining strength. We have an environment here that is overwhelming. As far as the particulars of how all this came together, you know, it's overwhelming to see how in December, and this is why we're always saying, don't let your guard down even during the, what we call the colder months or the winter months. And we're not even officially in winter. We're still at the end of fall for a few more days until we switch over to the actual winter season. But just like what happened in 2021, 2 years almost to the day, it's happening again. And as you can see, that is holding together, now moving through Auburn and moving into South Union. And it's following 6880, almost parallel with the highway, and is going to continue on its northeast path. And it has picked up a little bit of forward motion. It's now moving at 45 miles per hour. Earlier it was more like 40. But this means it's only going to get here a little sooner than anticipated. Bowling Green, we're looking at 10 after 3, approximated time. Now, these times are not exact. They're approximated based on the movement of the storm itself and based on where it's been. So here's the list of cities. Pick out your town. But as you're picking out your town, I want you to seek shelter. And now we're starting to get, I hear the rain that's coming down here at our studios downtown Bowling Green. Do we have, can you call up the new live cam, our AAA Systems live weather cam, as the rain is coming down heavily now, and you see it as we're looking live at the hill at Western. You can see Cherry Hall, you can see Van Meter, you can see all, and we're looking pretty much due west of downtown and a little southwest. You can see how the hills in the background there look like there's fog. Well, what that is heavy rainfall. And the thing I'm noticing also, guys, is that there's not a whole lot of lightning with this. There's very little in the way of lightning. This is going to be one of those situations where there's low convection as far as that's concerned, but very heavy rainfall. And then, of course, the twisting of the winds that we have coming in that makes this a dangerous situation.
Yeah, a dangerous situation. Again, a confirmed tornado on the ground. It's been producing damage, as we just learned, to homes and also just other structures out there. So again, you want to be in your safe place. Let's go back to radar and show you the latest on this storm as far as what we're tracking. again, this is now into South Union, where we are seeing the brunt of this storm, and this is working its way from southwest to northeast. These communities, Rockfield 257, so that's in about 5 minutes or so. Rich Pond at 3 o'clock. We're seeing these Bowling Green at 3:10, so that's giving us roughly about 15 to 20 minutes or so. But no matter the time frame here, as long as you see your communities in this list and you know that you're in the tornado warning, you want to seek shelter now. You want to get into your safe place right now. Again, this is a confirmed tornado that is moving east to northeast. It is moving at roughly 45 miles an hour towards the north and east. And it also has considerable winds as well, with the fact that there is a tornado tied to this, but it does have considerable winds with this storm.
Now, Darius, let me ask you, with this view, is this looks more like the base reflectivity?
Yes.
Can we take a, let's go, can we go live radar out of, let's say, Fort Campbell?
Fort Campbell, let's try that.
Let's try that since
Okay.
it's the closest. Okay, so, you know, what we're seeing here, and the reason why I asked him to do that is because with the live radar, as the sweeps come around, and what they usually do at the National Weather Service, when we're in a severe weather mode, they will speed up the rotation of the radar scans that come around. Usually when it's fair weather, clear weather, they slow them down, and so the scans don't happen as often. But when there's a severe weather situation like this, the scans come in a little bit faster and we get a little bit more up-to-date information. There you're seeing that Rockfield is just now getting the brunt of the heavier rain moving in. Petros, you've been getting it, South Union. You see the purples in there, the purple hues. There may be a little bit of small hail mixed in with some of that heavy rain as it's moving through. That's a possibility. We haven't heard of any reports of large hail, but there's certainly that possibility. You could be seeing little ice pellets ping pong off of your vehicles outside or whatever. That's a possibility. I just heard a rumble of thunder outside our studios here in downtown Bowling Green. That is just, you know, you only see a couple of lightning strikes, which is what we were mentioning a while ago. There's not a lot of lightning clustering up here, just occasionally. But there's enough energy and enough spin in the atmosphere that is causing this tornado. And again, from the way this looks, it is certainly a rain-wrapped tornado. So if you're thinking about grabbing your phone and going out and trying to get video of the tornado, and see how embedded in the rain it is, and look how it's decreased in velocity now. I think maybe some of this rain is starting to get to it, but here's the caveat. Don't let your guard down. I've seen this happen so many times where it looks like the velocity is dropped off and then it picks back up again. All we need is another notch and another inflow that's coming, and it looks like one is trying to build there. Darius, right there on the Warren County line.
Yes.
You see that notch trying to go in?
And again, this is about to cross over into or is crossing over into the Warren County line, just near Petros, and this is going to continue, looks like, towards the Rockfield area. You guys are already getting hit with heavy rain right now, but also it looks like we just got an updated
Tornado warning for Barron.
So
Let me see here.
Barron and Edmondson counties,
Yeah.
a tornado warning for those areas until 4 o'clock Central Time.
So it's just
they
an extension of this
extended-
one.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's to get you guys northeast of us, northeast of the Bowling Green area, prepared for what's coming. So they've gone ahead and extended that tornado warning into those areas.
Yeah, so this is, again, following the path of this storm, and this storm goes all the way back into northwestern Tennessee. I mean, this storm has just been consistently showing signs of rotation, and it's been working its way northeast. And the National Weather Service in Louisville, they went ahead and issued a tornado warning just ahead. I mean, you guys are probably not seeing a lot of rain right now, but this storm is headed in that general direction. Again, this does include Edmondson County as well as Barron County until 4 o'clock, and as well as Warren County, eastern portions of Warren County until 4 o'clock Central Time.
And because of that extension of the tornado warning, this now takes in the rest of Warren County that was not under the previous tornado warning, or the one that is still existing. So some of you are hearing the cows going off now in other parts of Warren County. So you hear the sirens now in those areas that were not originally under that existing tornado warning, and that's going to include Plum Springs, Oakland, Smiths Grove, all the way up to the Caveland area, Park City, Cave City, Mammoth Cave, and just barely getting into the Glasgow area. But they take in all that real estate just because of the movement of this system and the confirmed tornado. If it holds together, that's the path that it's going to take.
Yeah, and this is latest velocity scan showing the area of rotation now. I'm going to draw this latest scan for you. So you see these greens and these reds, they are meeting together, and that's where we are seeing the area of rotation with this storm. So this is now over towards the Rockfield area and towards the Woodburn area.
Switch, if you would, to the Nashville
Site.
Nashville NexRad, and see what it looks like from that angle. See, yeah, now we're even this far away, so we're kind of, as the crow flies, we're kind of halfway between us and Hopkinsville and us and Nashville. So we can take those different radar sites, contrast and compare. And what you're seeing is what the radar is indicating is still a pretty good couplet, a pretty good healthy cell that is producing a confirmed tornado, but again, likely wrapped in a lot of heavy rain as it moves into Rockfield.
I mean, because when you look at reflectivity, I mean, you don't see a hook echo with this. You really don't see a hook or a classic hook, so it's hard to really see where the tornado is when you're just looking at rain. So that's why it's good to take a dive and look at velocity, as well as even the tornado debris as well.
It's kind of lost that signature
It has.
in the last little bit, which is good, but that doesn't mean there's not a tornado there. It just means it hasn't picked up any debris. Now, if this strengthens again, like we've seen happen with that particular cell already a couple of times, where it looks like it's dropping off and okay, it looks better, looks like it's not as strong as it was, then it picks back up again. And it taps into that available jet energy. It taps into the available moisture. It gets the spin going again, and then it's back to a healthy cell again. And that's what's happening now, as we're seeing this, what we call cyclogenesis of this healthy tornadic cell. And if it continues to hold together, then it looks like on its current path, it is going to go just south of downtown Bowling Green. But Bowling Green, I wouldn't say, even downtown where we are we out of the woods? You want to, there's that cone there, that's that possible path. But if that storm decides to veer just a little bit, then, everybody's in the path pretty much with this particular tornado.
Yes, and here are the latest with the communities that are in the path of this storm. So you got Rich Pond 302, so that's pretty much happening now. Memphis Junction at 306, Lost River at 307, Shawnee Estates at 308, Three Springs at 308, Eastland Park 310, Briarwood Manor, Greenwood, Indian Hills, Mount Victor, Hardcastle, Green Hill, Plum Springs, Bristow, Gotts. You guys need to be in your safe place right now, because this is all headed your way within the next 10 to even 15 minutes or so. And again, this is now including eastern Warren County into Barron County, as well as into Edmonson County until 4 o'clock for this newly issued tornado warning.
Noah, have you received any new damage reports?
Not any new damage reports, but the National Weather Service in Louisville has canceled the tornado warning for east, central, and northwestern Simpson counties. Has been canceled.
So yes, because the area that we're seeing the rotation now is essentially now into southwestern Warren County. So Simpson County, we're not seeing that rotation anymore, and even into Logan County.
Good.
Yeah, but in addition, though, they are still saying that the tornado warning still remains in effect for central and southwestern Warren County. And the last time it was located was 3 miles west of Rich Pond, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour.
So it really is essentially, with this scan, looks like it is closely on top of Rich Pond now.
Yeah.
I mean, you're seeing those where that couplet is now, and this is just south of Memphis Junction. And again, this is moving east to northeast, and it's been moving at around 45 miles per hour, give or take. So again, this storm is working through the area.
I'm seeing more lightning.
That's what I've noticed too.
Yeah,
let's
it's starting to cluster a
See
little
if we
bit
can pull
more,
that up on camera. And,
which is an indication that we're starting to see some re-strengthening possibly of this storm. There you can see the rain coming down heavily from our live cam, AAA Systems live cam, downtown Bowling Green. You're looking right across, there's Pierce Ford Tower in the background and the campus of Western Kentucky University. It's almost like a, not sure if that's just shelf cloud or if it's just the rain that's coming down heavily from that angle.
it's really hard to see. I mean, and it's been cloudy all day today as well.
I would
Not
keep
really
I would keep that camera pointed southwest, which is
let's move
about
back
where
to
you're
camp.
looking,
Yeah.
just in case. And again, this is going to be a tornado that's rain wrapped. It doesn't, and I'm not looking necessarily from this point of view from our new live cam to try to catch a tornado within this view. There's too many trees, too many hills, too many buildings, but what I'm looking for is to see something that would indicate, you know, as the radar keeps pushing that cell, or we keep seeing it come this way, if we may see something on the camera that would indicate that it's coming closer.
Yeah, and it's showing, I mean, it's showing more lightning. It's generating with this storm as well.
Try going back and forth to keep it on velocity, but go now switch back to Fort Campbell and then back to Nashville. Let's do a contrast and compare on that velocity.
Okay, so let's pull up the Fort Campbell.
So Fort Campbell's not that impressive from its vantage point where it's looking. It shows weakening, but then when you pull up the Nashville,
And I think the Nashville, because the distance it is, it has a higher tilt with the Nashville, so
Yes.
it may be able to pick up on the rotation
Yes.
in the upper levels as opposed
Absolutely.
to the Campbellsville one.
yeah, there you go.
Or not
That
Campbellsville,
shows,
the
that
Hopkinsville.
really picks it up. And I
Yeah.
do see, now I don't know if you notice this, but I do see a strengthening of that. Look at that last couple of frames.
Yeah.
Notice how bright the red is starting to get now. So this confirms what I was just saying about the lightning cluster and about the strengthening. This thing is starting to strengthen once again. So that's a problem. We don't see we've been watching it weaken, then strengthen, weaken, then strengthen. And so now it's in that cyclogenesis again of where it's strengthening and it's becoming more of a healthy cell. And most likely there is within that heavy rain that we're currently getting, there is a tornado.
Most likely. I mean, and that is pretty a defined signature there.
Yeah, go
with
down on those
rotation.
streets
Yeah,
a
let's
little
put
bit
the
closer.
streets on here. This is actually Nashville Road in that Lost River area, but especially towards Rich
Yeah,
Pond
that's
right now, right on top
31W.
of Rich Pond. You got Rich Pond Road.
That'd be 242.
So this is, let's see how much closer we can get here. Dillard Road.
Yeah, that's just south of the Parkway or the Interstate 165. Then you see Three Springs Road. If anything's happening, it's going to be right in that area and down toward South Warren, which is going to be down there where it says Rich Pond and Nashville Road. That's 31W and 242. That's where South Warren schools are. And then where it meets up with Three Springs, as we see there, it's still a confirmed tornado. So this is, we have not lifted that tag, or I say we, but it's the National Weather Service, has not lifted that confirmed tag from that warning, which means there's still very likely a tornado there.
Yes, and again, the rotation is just evident here with this velocity return. Let's put back up reflectivity and see just how heavy this rain is. I mean, just pretty vibrant colors again. Just an energetic storm. And we're
Heavy.
already seeing it
Very.
gaining energy with lightning. I mean, we're starting to see more lightning. I'm not sure if we saw within the last scans how much lightning we saw, but I'm noticing that, especially when it's worked into Warren County.
And if you're just joining us, this is WNKY Bowling Green live News 40 weather coverage of a confirmed tornado that's been on the ground for more than 50 miles and now moving into Warren County and the city of Bowling Green. And probably and most likely wrapped in rain so that you cannot see the funnel. You cannot see it coming.
Some intense rain.
But the rain is certainly intense in keeping this from being in view. But it may be doing damage already. It has been doing. Look at the fog there from live
Wow.
cam. Our new AAA Systems live cam in downtown Bowling Green showing the hill at Western, seeing some of the steam and some of the fog that's coming up as a result of the heavy rains that are coming through. And occasionally we're getting some lightning strikes, especially north of town. But our concern is within all of this, there may be a tornado still on the ground, and certainly the velocities are indicating that there is still a couplet, there is still something there.
And so let's pull that up again. And again, this is where we're seeing these, where these reds and greens are meeting. So you got just to show you what's going on here, where we have these reds and greens kind of meeting together here is where we are seeing that rotation.
Yeah.
And that's where we're getting that, what we call a velocity couplet. So that's evident that there is shear with this storm, and that is likely where that tornado is when we pull up the velocity. And this is actually towards the Three Springs area, the Greenwood area, and even towards where it's showing Elrod Road and towards the Natcher Parkway. These are the areas right now where we are seeing that.
Wow.
And this is, again, moving east to northeast.
One thing that I've noticed about the live cam, you can't even see Western anymore.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow.
I mean,
You
it's
really
almost
can't
blanked
see it
out.
anymore.
Let's pull that back up then, and just to show you. So visibility significantly reduced with this storm out there, and just, wow, incredible. Just shows you how intense this rain is coming down.
But you also notice that there's barely any wind.
A friend of mine just texted me, and he's taking shelter over at the Cabela's here around like Scottsville Road area.
Yeah.
He was like, I need to leave, I want to leave. And I keep telling him no. And he's like, it's not even windy. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It does
because
not
if
matter.
there's a tornado, and we think there is within this, embedded in this rain, once the tornado comes through, it'll be windy. It'll be more than windy. In fact, it'll be destructive once it comes through. It looks like it's about now east of Memphis Junction and
Towards
now moving
Elrod
into the Three
Road.
Springs area,
Yeah.
the Greenwood area, Cave Mill Road area, Small House Road. I mean, it's getting closer to downtown, but in particular on the south side of Bowling Green is where that likely tornado is. And again, you're not going to be able to see it. It's all going to be wrapped in this intense rain that's coming down.
And so these areas, Greenwood, Cave Mill Road area, Elrod Road area, these are the areas you want to already be in your safe place. And latest scan actually shows it right on top now of the Cave Mill Road towards Greenwood area. And again, this is moving towards north and east. So Lover's Lane, that area, even towards, say, Cumberland Trace Road, you want to already be in your safe place. This is moving, again, east to northeast. I'm going to pull up another storm track, and then I'm going to put these communities in view once again so you guys are better prepared, and just so you guys get a general idea of when to expect the worst of the storm to move through. Hardcastle at 317, Gotts at 319, Loving at 322, Polkville at 322, Sunnyside at 322, the Oakland area at 326, Kepler at 327, Three Forks at 327, Smiths Grove at 329, Pondsville 330, Hydro 331, Berry Store 332, the Hayes community at 333, Railton at 333, and Mary Oaks at 335. Again, these are all within the next 20 to 25 minutes or so, especially when you get towards the Hydro, Berry Store, and then Mary Oaks area. So again, this storm is moving towards the north and east. This does include the Smiths Grove area as well. And again, southern Edmonson County there. So not even Brownsville is in this tornado warning, but it's a southern sliver of Edmonson County, and then northwestern portions of Barron County, and actually does include Glasgow.
Just barely.
Barely, but it does include Glasgow. But you're talking about the Park City area and near the Cave City area. Although you guys aren't technically in that polygon, I would still say take your safe place, because that's just very close.
Give me, if you would, Darius, a big view with just reflectivity over our viewing area. Okay, I'm just kind of getting the bigger picture here. What we want to see happening is we want all of this to become more linear. And by that, I mean we want everything to congeal into one big line out ahead of the cold front is still back west of us. It's right over western Kentucky. So this is actually, you know, we're a little bit after 3:15 almost. So this is actually happening a lot earlier than we thought it was going to. We thought it would be just now starting and then going into the early evening hours. This is actually a blessing that it's not happening after dark. But what we want to see is all of this kind of congealing into one big line of showers and thunderstorms. Then it becomes really less of a threat as far as tornadoes and becomes more of a just a heavy rain, maybe strong thunderstorm type event as all of this just kind of marches off to the east.
Yeah, and this is all, and the good news about this is that the leading edge of this is where I'm seeing most of the severe warnings. I'm not seeing any new warnings behind this line.
That's good.
That is good news to hear there with this. We take a closer view back home now, and you can actually see, even with the return now, where you can see that rotation. And this looks to be south of downtown Bowling Green. We pull up the velocity again and to see the area here, and this is again just south of downtown Bowling Green. It looks like southeast of downtown Bowling Green is where we're seeing that rotation. So we're looking at the Greenwood area, just east of Eastland Park, and this is just towards the Cemetery Road area. This is where we are seeing the rotation, as this is, and we've just been following this really since this storm has been into Tennessee, and it's just been tracking north and east, and it's just been showing rotation. And then there'll be some scans where the rotation gets broader, or it may not be noticeable, but then there'll be newer scans that come in that show that rotation. And so this storm has just been consistent with rotation, and it's just been following a general trend, and that's really where we've been seeing most of these reports as well, is generally within the trend of this storm.
Yeah, in fact, I was just noticing, Noah, you had the live cam up, and now downtown looks completely different than it did just a few minutes ago.
Wow. Let's check that out. This is what it looks like right now. And yeah, just what a drastic difference between what we just saw with all the rain, I mean, reduced visibility, and now we're seeing what looks like some layers of clouds there.
Yeah, it's become, for the moment, pretty stable now that we've got the best energy pushing out east of us. But I did see on the radar another line that's back behind us that we'll have to keep an eye on. Although, like you said, Darius, it's not as intense as what's coming through right now. And there, we still see that somewhat of a couplet. It's pretty broad. It's not as tight as it was earlier when it was a confirmed tornado. So, you know, maybe this rain has done a good job of keeping the tornado potential down with this cell now.
And it looks like those warnings have been allowed to expire that were out for portions of western Warren County, but now this Bowling Green's still in this tornado warning, but I will say that the storm is moving east, Smiths Grove, Plum Springs area. Again, we're looking at southern Edmonson County, not particularly Brownsville, but southern Edmonson County towards even, say, the Mammoth Cave area and the Park City area there into Barron County, as well as all the way over to Glasgow.
Yeah, it's still
this
kind of on
warning.
that 68
68,
path,
80,
but
yeah.
as 68 splits off from 31W north of town up near the Trans Park, then it's going to take more of a path up 65 as you head in up toward Horse Cave and Cave City and that area.
And let's see a broader view here. So we even have more warnings towards our south and west, but this is all moving, as you can see, east to northeast this hour. So this is moving from southwest to northeast. We actually have more storms, at least another line that's developed behind this line towards the Hopkinsville area, but there's no warnings with this line. And the thing is that the line that's on the leading edge, what we are seeing right now, that is the line with the most energy at this time. And you know, this should be the line that should be robbing the energy from the other line that's developing. But of course, we are going to continue to keep a close eye on the next line that's developing behind the initial line that's moving in.
Yeah, that is, you know, the thing is, in these kind of situations that I've seen so many times, is that you still cannot let your guard down because it is one of these volatile situations where you still have so much potential energy. The sun is still out. We're not past sunset yet, so that's why I think you're still seeing a line back behind us, and that line is kind of right there along the cold front. Now, once that cold front comes through, we are out of the woods as far as severe weather, and the severe weather threat will continue to go down as we go through the next couple of hours. And then the main threat then would be just heavy rain and maybe still some gusty winds, but even the winds have not been as bad today as we thought they would be. The winds where they have been the worst have been in the upper atmosphere. We've had the southerly winds coming in along the ground where we are, but then we've had veering winds as you go up, and enough of that veering has been going on, or twisting with height. That sheer environment has been strong enough to cause a spin and to cause an actual tornado that was on the ground for at least more than 50 miles. But now we're seeing somewhat of a weakening of that tornado.
It's kind of
It's very broad.
Yeah,
very broad rotation right now. So that is a good sign, but I'm still cautious about letting our guard down with this, because it still just has that marker on it.
Is there any new, do we have any new reports of any damage or anything, or is that in the chat? Or?
You're saying a photo posted on social media of a funnel cloud at the interstate I-65 at the I-65 interchange south of Bowling Green.
Okay.
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 And I
One of
did
those
get
on
a
social media.
Yes.
I did get a note from our good friend Carl Cheney out at Cheney's Dairy Barn. He said they were watching as that apparent tornado was passing by, just kind of went north of the dairy barn. So that would be 31W out where Buchanan Park is, and that general area. And where we were talking minutes ago about South Warren. Remember how bad it looked through there? That cell was looking really bad through that area. He said they could see it. It was dark. He couldn't see the tornado necessarily, but he could tell that that was what was happening at that moment. So, yeah. So I think, you know, there have been a lot of verifications and a lot of confirmations and damage reports enough to know that while it may have been over mostly rural areas, there was definitely a tornado there, and it may take a while before we get more verified reports to that end.
Definitely. Also, one thing noted too, since this main storm just moved through, there's still other smaller showers and storms right behind it. And if you're under that band of showers and storms over a long period of time, that's when another threat comes into flash flooding. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That's still a thing that we have here. So yeah, just turn around, don't drown if you ever come across some flooded roadways again.
And we just saw how fast that rain was moving on the AAA systems camera. So I mean, rainfall rates at least a good 1 to 2 inches or more an hour can really create ponding on those roads as well.
Definitely.
And you see how all this is, if you look at just the shape of all of this on the radar, you can see how it's all, you can tell the upper winds are really steering these storms. They kind of have a flare, kind of have a, you know, like almost like when you look up in the sky and you see high cirrus clouds, they kind of have that wispy look to them.
They do.
That's being driven by those upper winds, which are really strong. And thankfully, we have not had any of these storms reach up and bring those upper winds down to the ground, or maybe, guys, we would be talking about a lot more wind damage than anything else.
Just in from the National Weather Service in Louisville, tornado warning remains in effect until 4 p.m. for East Central Warren County, Northwestern Barron, and Southeastern Edmonson counties. At 3:19 p.m. Central Standard Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 2 miles east of Mount Victor, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, so Mount Victor is right out there as you come out of Lover's Lane into Cemetery Road and Johnny Webb Boulevard and I-65 in that general area, and it continues to move off. But as we've noted here, we're seeing very broad rotation and nothing that's very tight at all. I mean, it's a big rotation, and so until it becomes something smaller, it's right now not as threatening. It's just very broad. And again, as Darius pointed out earlier, if we're looking from the Nashville Doppler site, then as that beam comes up and hits that, it's picking it up mostly in the, you know, a few hundred feet above us instead of near the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's at least some good news.
So this is now Smiths Grove. You guys are getting hit with heavy rain, even some hail embedded with this storm as well. Looks like the worst of this storm is into eastern Warren County. So Bowling Green, really not in this tornado, at least downtown Bowling Green, not in this tornado warning anymore. This is they're just going to continue to chip this away as this storm continues to move east. And again, broad rotation just east of or southeast of Plum Springs, there towards the southwest of Smiths Grove. But again, rotation is broad so far. And the wording on this one, notice we've seen confirmed tornado warnings on the last ones, but this one says tornado warning. Now, I'm not saying let your guard down, but I mean, there is a noticeable difference between when they've been issuing the confirmed tornado warnings with the wording, and now
they took that tag off,
so,
which is certainly good. And that's because they're seeing the same thing we are, is that it's a very broad rotation and something that's not as tight as it was. And we're not getting any further visible confirmation or anybody saying that they're seeing a tornado at this point. Of course, it would have been rain wrapped anyway, and it would have been very hard to see. What are we seeing with those cells south of us? Like, I was noticing a lot of warnings down in Tennessee.
Yes, into Tennessee, and they have multiple warnings. Severe warning storms. It looks like we are looking at 3 different tornado warnings there in northern and central Tennessee there, and also just really a powerhouse of storms there, a cluster of storms there into Tennessee this hour. But it looks like where most of the energy is, I mean, when we're looking to relation to the whole radar, is in Tennessee right now.
Yeah, and maybe there is some of that congealing, merging of those lines together. That's the main line. We're hearing the sirens again. I think that may be just for the continuation of that warning. Eastern Warren County, and it's starting to rain hard again.
And the wind is picking up just a little bit too.
Just a little,
you can see it on the camera as well. Yeah, you can see the winds kind of picking up. We pull up the AAA systems camera again.
Ooh, look at that. Look at the build. Look at the cumulonimbus, the towering up there.
Wow.
Off right in front of the towers. Can you pan over, pan right? Take a look at that. Yeah,
There we
so
go.
that's showing there's still some updraft going on. So yeah, we still have some energy with this system. I mean, they're not building up really high, but at least it's showing itself that it still has some strength, it still has some energy with it.
Yeah, I think it's really cool how you can almost see the very top of the storm and the bottom of the storm,
Yeah.
too. That's really neat to see.
Yeah, it's usually on that right rear behind the storm. To the south and southwest of the storm is where you can usually see even there you can see right where the tower is a little bit of blue sky, and the sun is reflecting off of those very high clouds that are cumulonimbus clouds that are towering up, and so you can see that, but it's only briefly as the rain then takes back over and the low clouds, and that's what you're looking at.
Wow.
Okay, we're waiting for this tornado warning to expire.
And let's just take a closer look again and these areas that do have this tornado warning. So Smiths Grove, Oakland, you guys are getting hit with a lot of rain right now towards the Kepler community. Polkville, this is crossing just east of you right now. And again, this is all headed towards southern portions of Edmonson County. Cedar Springs seeing some lightning right now, at least according to radar, towards Sloan's Crossing, getting in with some lightning as well. But this is moving east. It's going to eventually work its way into Barron County, and that does include Park City, Mary Oaks area, Railton area, Red Cross area, Beckton, Stovall, Carden. These are all the areas. Oh, wow.
Ooh, wow.
So apparently we have there's somebody got some video of what looks like a tornado.
Wow, and this
That is quite large.
Old Stone and Bowling Green.
Yeah, back behind Old Stone.
Near the Fillmore Park area?
Yeah, down in that area. So
I hope people down there use this shelter for sure.
So at least it was very visible, and that was when that couplet was a lot tighter. And we're going to try to get, hopefully, our news department, and I know they're watching and they're kind of following along, because we're going to give them, hopefully, some audible cues to maybe go out where there's some damage. We don't know of any real organized damage yet, but that tornado, from what we just saw on social media, that's been already passed around to a lot of people, there was definitely something there.
Yeah. Also from the National Weather Service in Louisville, they are still continuing the tornado watch. Still remains in effect until 7 p.m. Central Standard Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for all of the viewing areas.
So this goes until 7 o'clock. So these are the counties that are under that tornado watch. Obviously, we have Warren County in that watch as well as Edmonson County, Hart County, Barron County, Allen County. And again, this continues until 7 o'clock this evening. And what I think is going to happen is eventually we're going to watch at least these counties towards our west. Those are going to be at least taken off eventually. And we're going to watch this just continue as this line moves, or as these storms move east. We're going to watch the severe weather risk diminish for us.
Yeah, so that is impressive. I mean, the person who posted this originally, Kyle Tasman, apparently I guess he lives over in that Old Stone area here in Bowling Green and Warren County. Very well-defined wedge tornado.
Mm-hmm.
This was
Wow.
a wedge tornado. I mean, it was big. Now, whether it was doing a lot of destruction along the ground is hard to tell from this video, but we're gonna put this out there, and then we're going to follow up and see if we indeed did have some damage from that.
Here it is.
Yeah,
I mean, that
we're
is pretty impressive. near the
Wow.
from Old Stone and Bowling Green.
Yeah.
That is insane.
So, I mean, it's, phew. You know, it's just crazy to think that here we are, almost 2 years to the day of the 2021 December 11th tornadoes, and here we are once again.
You know, but the thing is that this wasn't a nocturnal event, which is
And that's the blessing.
that is the blessing, is that it's not nocturnal, because most people are asleep, most people are not aware when these are nocturnal. But during the day, most people are awake and they are aware of these. They're able to hear those warnings that you get on the phone. And they're able to hear those warnings. They're able to be more aware of the weather.
All right, so
Yes.
where are we on the latest on this tornado warning?
Latest on the tornado warning, it looks like it still continues for eastern Warren County. This does include the Smiths Grove area, but I will point out that the strongest of the storm is now essentially on top of Smiths Grove now. This is going to work into western Barron County, and we're seeing a lot of the heavy rain into southern Edmonson County this hour.
Okay.
And that continues until 4 o'clock.
Have you, let's check velocity real quick. And just see if it's
It's still broad.
It's kind of, yeah.
But
Very broad. You know,
It's-
the whole rotating storm itself stretches all the way from Smiths Grove into Park City, just to give you an idea of the area this takes in. So if it were a lot smaller, if you saw that deep green or bright green meeting up with the bright red very close together, like we saw when this was an actual tornado on the ground, then we would be concerned. But because it's so large, it doesn't mean there's a large tornado there. It just means that the rotation is very broad at this point, and there's probably not much of anything there.
Yeah, a new report came out. A tornado warning remains in effect until 4 p.m.
So they're
since.
just-
What?
So they're just looks like they're updating.
Yeah, they're just updating it. They said the tornado-producing storm was located 10 miles east of Plum Springs, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. It's been kind of staying consistent with its forward speed, and we definitely noticed when it was ramping up, and when we started getting the reports of a large, extremely dangerous tornado, it was getting faster and faster. Didn't anybody else notice that too?
Yeah.
But now, since it's like kind of staying very stagnant, it's holding up its own still right now.
Yeah. I'm trying to get permission from the person that shot the tornado video for us to use, so we can
share on.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we can not only share it but actually put it up here. So I'm working on that at the moment.
But yeah, what an incredible video, image there. That's just
That's a sight that's just incredible, but also you do not want to see.
don't want to see that, especially
You really don't.
nearing the second anniversary of the just the
Wow, look at these clouds.
tornadoes
just
in 2021.
Racing. These clouds are just racing across the sky right now.
Let's take a look at that with our AAA Systems live cam.
They are just flying by.
Yeah, those are the upper winds that are steering this pretty quickly off to the east. And you know, the thing is that if we had tapped into some of those upper winds at some point, then we would be talking more about straight line wind damage than we would a tornado. The tornado itself just drew in a lot of inflow from all the winds, the gusty south winds that we've had today. And because the upper winds are going a different direction, then it just made it easy for that tornado to form. And it, gosh, it went, what, more than 50 miles?
Yeah.
I mean,
50,
it did.
60
I mean, it was
miles?
consistently. I mean, it was started in western Tennessee,
Yeah.
and then just made its
Probably
way through
more than that, yeah.
Christian and Todd counties, and continued through Logan County, and obviously here through Warren County. So
We have a number of people saying that they're without power
Okay.
So we have some power outages, the Fieldstone community, and a lot of that over in Fieldstone is more underground and not the, necessarily the power lines and power poles that you normally have. So it could be a substation that's out. We may want to check the Warren Rural Electric and BGMU outage maps.
Looks like some info came in. Someone said a tornado came very close to the apartment complex that they live at, and that it broke a fence in a small section between the apartments of La Quinta on Mel Browning Street.
Oh yeah, so that's over by Cracker Barrel and the Greenwood interchange of 65. Mel Browning Street, there's the Shell station and those hotels that are right through there, right by Cracker Barrel and in that general, over toward Greenwood High School in that particular area. So yeah, I mean, and you can see those clouds, how they look windswept.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wind energy there in those clouds, and so, that's why they have that kind of jagged, wispy kind of look to them. But you can see them moving, and of course this is live, it's in real time, and you're seeing all this just quickly moving off to the north and west, and you can see the cameras shaking a little bit more. So the wind energy is still there, even though when we had the heaviest rains going on, we didn't see a whole lot of wind, but now we're starting to see a little bit more now.
Yeah, let's check out those current wind gusts across the area. And it's interesting that even without rain, you got those gusts that may approach near 30 miles an hour at times. And right now, at least for Bowling Green, it's showing 28-mile-per-hour gust with this map. Back to radar. The latest on the tornado warning, again, this is supposed to expire at 4 o'clock, so the time is 3:38, so it gives us about another 20-ish minutes or so where this tornado warning will expire, or is set to expire. And the majority, or at least where we're seeing the strongest part of this particular storm cell, is now into eastern Warren County and crossing over into western Barron County and southern Edmonson County towards the Park City area. So Rocky Hill, Hayes, Mary Oaks, Apple Grove, these are the areas right now where hopefully you're already in your safe place, but you're also getting hit with a lot of rain at this time.
Yeah, the outdoor warning sirens are going off in Glasgow. I'm getting word of that. And I guess that's part of this warning that is still continuing, that just kind of barely hits Glasgow, but I guess on the western edge of Glasgow proper and that part of Barron County, as you go up toward Oil City, you go up Oil City Road, and of course they've got the 6880 loop that goes around Glasgow to the north. In that general area still where that tornado warning is still valid at this point.
Yes.
And rotation, again, just looks broad still. And this is just east of Smiths Grove, there towards Rocky Hill and Apple Grove is where we're still seeing rotation, but it is broad.
Yeah, that's certainly some good news, but as we've seen happen at least, 3-4 times this thing would weaken, and then it would just ramp back up.
I mean,
Just come back.
It's definitely certainly had a history of that, especially as it even crossed into when it's first crossed into Logan County.
Yes. Yeah, and that's been the thing that is, if you don't pay attention, you may say, well, this thing has died down and it's over. It's not over. That's the problem. And we still have a little bit more daylight to go. Not that we've had so much in the way of sun energy to help these things, to fuel these things. If we had had a lot more sun energy today, we would have been in big trouble. So far, we had that one tornado and maybe a little bit of wind damage with some of that. That's what we're hearing from that. But the thing that we're noticing as you take a look at radar is that it's the best potential energy is now over Middle Tennessee as you travel Interstate 40 west of Nashville toward Dixon and Waverly, those areas, Ashland City, moving up into crossing over I-24 from Clarksville to Springfield. And the concern is for me and for you guys, I know it's on a northeastward trajectory, and some of that could cross back over into Simpson County and maybe back into Bowling Green, maybe into Allen County in the Scottsville area over the next couple of hours.
Definitely.
It could. And the general track has been from southwest to northeast. And across Tennessee, I've been seeing somewhat of what seems like training. I mean, there's just more storms just building back.
And that's going to give way to flash flooding.
Mississippi.
Yeah. As these storms continue to move over the same territory, that's when this thing, and when these lines begin to form together or come together as one, then we're going to see more of a threat of flash flooding than we would of tornadoes. And certainly here soon, as we go into nightfall, we'll lose whatever instability is out there and available energy, and this thing will become more of a what we call a stratiform type system, and that means just a layer of clouds with some heavy rain going over the same areas and less of a spin in the atmosphere, so there would be less of a tornado threat. But we're not quite there yet.
No.
We are not, especially when, we are still looking at these storms just towards our south and west, just towards Springfield, southwest Springfield, Tennessee.
Yeah, in fact, there's
now.
a new tornado warning now for Robertson County, which is Springfield.
So
That's just coming out of the Nashville National Weather Service office. And so, as you can see there, that purple is indicating that we have a confirmed tornado that's coming out of the Ashland City area, which is southwest of Springfield and kind of along I-24 there. You see Ashland City just below that. It is moving into Robertson County, and the concern is there because it's on that trajectory to the northeast, then it's eventually going to come through Springfield, and if it comes through there, then it's most likely the next closest place that it could come through would be Franklin in our area.
yeah, if it continues to hold its track and holds its, of course, its steam, the Simpson County, even Allen County, and even though Barron County, you guys have a tornado warning right now, I mean, if it continues to hold together, it's in that path where it could also affect Barron County if this line of storms here, especially in the Middle Tennessee, holds together.
I've also noticed that most of this area, like Franklin, Scottsville, even as far east as Glasgow and Portland, that's all untouched air. Like, nothing has really gone through except for just this one particular storm that went through Bowling Green and it's now in that area now. So they still have a lot of energy still to work with, so stay up to date.
Yeah, that is a good point that you brought up, Noah, with the fact that these areas ahead of this line have not actually seen anything yet. So that means that there's still fuel there, still some energy for these storms to work with. And National Weather Service in Nashville, they just continue to add more and more warnings.
Dixon looks.
So it looks like Warren County, looks like they are going to expire that tornado warning for Warren County, as really most of the storm is now into northwestern Barron County this hour. So it looks like the Smiths Grove area, you guys are seeing some light to moderate rain at this time, but a lot of this, at least the worst of the storm, is now crossing over towards the Park City area there into Barron County.
Okay, I'm listening to you guys. I'm just checking a few things right here. Just now we're starting to get viewers kind of involved a little bit more. Sending even some photos and things like that. And of course, what we have to do is go through kind of a verification process to make sure that that everything's legit as far as what's sent to us, and to get permission and and those type of things, because we can't just, go willy-nilly with these things. So we have to be careful and pay attention to everything that's just transpiring in a short amount of time. It really, we have to pay attention to all that.
Yeah.
It's important. So I'm getting a report, and this is one of them. We were just talking about those hotels on Scottsville Road and Mel Browning,
Yes.
where there was something that went on right there near Greenwood and Cracker Barrel. The La Quinta, we mentioned that one. We've got another report that says it lost its roof.
Okay. It
the
looks
La
like
Quinta
the La
Inn.
Quinta Inn on
Yes.
off of Scottsville Road.
Yeah, so that would
Okay.
be right there at Mel Browning and I-65, right close to the Cracker Barrel here in Bowling Green. So, news department, if you're watching, and I know you are, I would say that would be the place to go right now if you want to get some footage and also just to see what else is going on there. The thing is that I know there's going to be probably a lot of you that want to go out and survey damage and rubberneck and all of that. It's best to stay away. That's one thing I saw 2 years ago, was there was a lot of people out trying to look at the damage after that tornado that came through the bypass, and it was chaotic.
Yes.
And even when I was just going around just kind of checking on people, we had just picked up our youngest grandson from a daycare that was on Magnolia earlier that afternoon, the afternoon before the tornado, and that whole thing was destroyed.
Wow.
And so we had gotten our grandson out, but it was just, you look back now, you think, gosh, I was just there a few hours before the tornado hit, and now that place is gone. It's no longer there. And I know a lot of people like to get out and just say, oh, let's go down the street and see what kind of damage is there. Really, we need to let the first responders, we need to let anybody that's had real damage, we need to let people get in there that need to see this and survey, make sure there's no active power lines, that are still, hot at this point. You don't want to be near that. And just let the people that know how to do this, let them do their job.
New update here from the National Weather Service. It looks like they are going to allow this tornado warning to expire at 4 o'clock, but they did issue a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Barron as well as into Hart and Metcalfe counties until 4:30 Central Time.
And the main hazards with this new severe thunderstorm warning is 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, about that range, maybe some penny-size hail, pea-size hail too. Moving northeast at 35 miles an hour.
Okay, so it looks like the storm has actually, at least the forward motion of it has slowed down a bit.
Yeah, and at least that's some good news in that the thing that we have been seeing, the broadening of that rotation, has weakened that to severe thunderstorm level, which is serious enough, but at least it's not tornadic at this point.
Yes, but still also I just continue to scroll down some more. Remain alert for a possible tornado. So, tornadoes can develop very quickly from severe thunderstorms. Just stay aware, just get into the interior part of your house, get away from windows from severe thunderstorms, because even just from damaging winds, it could bust your window and it can just have glass go all over the place, or it could rip a portion of your roof off, and that could just be straight line winds. Like going back to March early this year when we had that damaging wind threat, there was a lot of damage all over town and all over the area. So wind can be very, very dangerous.
Yeah, damaging winds, and even though a severe thunderstorm warning may not sound as what's the word, as sexy as a tornado warning, it can still be I mean, it can still do destruction. I mean, 60-mile-an-hour winds can knock down trees and power lines.
The tornado warning for East Central Warren and southeastern Edmonson counties is canceled.
Okay.
So it looks like they have canceled. So you said they canceled the tornado warning
Yes.
for
East Central Warren
in Edmonson
and
County. So
southeastern Edmonson
they
County.
still, it looks like they're going to allow the next 9 minutes of this tornado warning run for Barron County then towards the Park City area.
Until 4 o'clock. They're just going to let it run its course. And honestly, just looking on radar, it looks like it's wasted all of its energy. And
It has. It's spent a lot of its energy, which is pretty common, and it's about time. I mean, now it's entering a more, or I should say, a less favorable environment because of so much rain that has been around that particular area before that cell got there. I think that has really diminished the tornadic ability of that particular cell. So that's the good news about rain. We do get rain ahead of this kind of system. It is best for that kind of a cell because when you get that rain cooling the air around it, and it kind of cuts off that inflow that's been coming at it all day, and that inflow and that active jet is what has made that thing stay as long as it did on the ground for probably 50 to 100 miles. I mean, we haven't measured it, but it was on the ground for a long, long time.
Yeah.
all the way from basically Clarksville, Russellville,
But that it was going over an environment that hadn't been worked over yet, and so it just kept going and going and going, like the Energizer Bunny, and it just finally now it's hitting some areas that have been rain cooled and have become more stable. There you're seeing the replay of all of it, and just now is it starting to fall apart a little bit.
Yeah, it's starting to fall apart. We still got storms towards the south and west there into Middle Tennessee that are also moving northeast. And the concern for these storms is that they could also clip portions of the viewing area. So that could include portions of Simpson County, Allen County, Barron County, and maybe even Warren County. So we've got to, of course, still keep a close eye on these storms towards the south and west. I know that the National Weather Service in Nashville, they've just been issuing several warnings and even confirmed tornado warnings, one that we're seeing here. So,
yeah, and I'm starting to see more visuals of the tornado. This picture came from rain wrapped,
For sure.
You know, for sure, like we thought. Now, again, what we're going to try to do is effort some of these to our website and to our social media, where you guys watching on television or on our Facebook page can see this as well. But you know, it's a little bit of a process. We just want to make sure that we've got clearance to do all of that, and to make sure that everything's, you know, kosher in that regard. Because sometimes, you know, you get in these situations, you'll have somebody posting a picture of a tornado from 1985 that they just lifted off of Google or Google Images or something. We want to make sure these are valid images, and most of all, we want to make sure you give us permission to use them instead of just saying, "Oh, here we go," you know, it's out there, so we're going to share it. But we want to make sure it's okay with you guys first. And we do have a news crew that's on the way over there toward Cracker Barrel, La Quinta Inn, Mel Browning Street and Scottsville Road over toward Greenwood High School, and we're going to see what comes from that, and you know, maybe we can get some confirmation on that damage that's been reported by several people over there.
Ooh.
all right, so here's the broad view of radar, and it looks like the line behind this line has not been producing any warnings, but it still looks like it is producing quite a deal of rain and even maybe some hail embedded, especially towards Ohio County and Muhlenberg counties. But so far, no severe warnings with that line that have been issued. Again, the leading edge of this is where we're seeing most of these warnings, and where we're seeing most of the energy is with this leading line, especially across portions of northern and even middle Tennessee there, just north of the I-40 corridor, through the Dixon area towards Robertson County, where in Tennessee, where they do have that confirmed tornado warning. And this line, or this storm, I mean, it is moving east to northeast. And like I said, if it holds together, we'll have to watch for the concerns for severe weather again.
Yeah,
in our area.
that's one reason why I'm just a little, I know we've gone on here for a while, and for you folks that have wanted to, watch a ball game or whatever, I know it's important, and we really, listen, I want you to know how much we actually, and I hope you take this the right way, we actually would rather be at home watching the Army-Navy game or, doing some other things. But when it's this way, we're going to be here and we're going to be covering it. And that's one reason why I've joined this team at News 40, because we want to be committed to your community. And as a service to this community, this is one of the things that we're just implored to do, is to keep you up to date and safe as we possibly can, and in this kind of situation, anticipate what's coming, because we don't want you to be caught off guard. And so, unfortunately, we can't split everybody's TV off into different, where you can see this and somebody else can see that. And I mean, you do have your choice of channels, but when it comes to severe weather, something that's considered an emergency, and in this case, where we had a confirmed tornado and the threat of more, then that supersedes anything that the network is showing at the moment, and that's why we're doing this continuous coverage. As soon as we can throw it back, we will, but in the meantime, I still see indication that we can't let our guard down just yet.
Yes, and I actually just got an image here shared of the Super 8, at least part of the roof of the Super 8 on Cumberland Trace Road.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, there's definitely damage there, and so we have a news crew that's going out to that area, Mel Browning Street, Scottsville Road, near the Greenwood I-65 interchange, near Cracker Barrel, to get some of that footage of the damage that's there. Any other damage, I mean, feel free, those of you that have my social media pages up, or you can hit me up, you can hit Darius up, Noah, you can hit the WNKY social media pages and do the same thing and just upload there. Maybe we can try to effort, I don't know, Darius, while you're covering the radar, if we can go in the back end and see if there's any images that have come in, maybe from people that have emailed something in from their point of view and from where they are. Of course, when you email an image to us or send it directly to us in that way, then you're giving us the permission to show that on television, and we appreciate that. We don't take that for granted at all. We appreciate you being so kind to do that. We just want to make sure we get permission, and most of all, we want to make sure that it's safe outside when you're doing that. We don't want you to be in harm's way at all when you attempt to get a picture or video of something like that.
Okay, the tornado warning for North Central Barron County will expire at 4, so basically right now. So that's really good. Nice little sigh of relief for everybody. But still be mindful, there's still more storms down to the south and to our west. The ones to our west, or our immediate west, seem to be a little bit more strong, but they're not severe like the ones near Nashville and Springfield and just south and east of Clarksville for this current time. So while that atmosphere down there really hasn't been worked over like ours has now, but still we could still have some really heavy rains, occasional gusty winds still moving through the area. So, and with all this water that we've been seeing, even with some of the strong non-thunderstorm winds, that could possibly knock over a few weak small trees, some tree limbs still, and your Christmas decorations as well. So you might need to go catch Santa Claus down the road.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, there's Christmas decorations that are up now. You know, people are getting ready for the holidays. And the thing, though, is with this system is that, I mean, we had some breezy weather even leading up to today. I mean, it was pretty breezy for the last couple of days. I mean, it was noticeably windy.
From our friends in Nashville at Channel 2, WKRN, they are posting some pretty incredible photos from Clarksville, Tennessee, of tornado damage there.
Wow.
Pretty incredible stuff. So to me, that looks like most likely EF2, possibly low-end EF3 type damage from there. Oh, so Darius, can you...
See if I can pull this up.
We have some footage of the tornado itself that came through the Old Stone area down by the Twin Bridges and Fillmore Park. In that particular area, Old Scottsville Road. We're going to try to pull that up and put it on screen. So give it a second here. Yeah, so we have a lot of people that have picked up that video, and it's starting to go around now on social media.
Yeah, just the same kind of local storm reports that we've been hearing. Roof damage at the hotel, which is at the what, the La Quinta?
La Quinta Inn.
Yeah, La Quinta Inn.
Quinta Inn. Okay.
So just seeing the kind of same reports that we've been hearing, and then there's obviously going to be additional reports as well.
Okay, so while we're in the process of pulling that video up, as you're looking at the radar, the concern is while we're staying with this and all the warnings are now down, let's see, if we could come back to the wall for just a minute, me at the wall. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Connor, who's at the controls. He has been working with us all afternoon to make sure we get the coverage on. And so here we go. This is what I want to show you, is that we still have all of this that's down around the metro Nashville area and moving northeast back into, it looks like it's going to move back into parts of Simpson and Allen counties, back into Warren County. There is what was the tornado warning, which is now expired and has become a severe thunderstorm warning up near the Caveland area, up I-65 to the north, and all of that is moving out of the News 40 viewing area. We still have a line back here to the west of us from Hopkinsville up to about, well, it looks like about Madisonville. No, actually, Beaver Dam, Hartford, that would be 165. There we go. It's just, I had to get in a little bit closer on that so I could see. Yeah, there we go. And still some very heavy rainfall, but notice with that line, there are no warnings at all with this. It's just a lot of heavy rain, because you got to remember now where we are here in southern Kentucky, the atmosphere is now really overworked. It has been way overworked with all of this rain and thunderstorm activity. So that's good for us. So as the second line, and you can see it's starting to catch up with the first line of activity, this is what we anticipated would happen, is that these two are going to come together and form one big line that is going to go east of I-65, and then we'll soon be in the clear of all this. But the concern is further south. We have these new warnings that are coming up from about Springfield, west of Nashville. Those are still very potent, but those storms are going over territory that has not been overworked. So there's a lot of potential energy down here in northern middle Tennessee, and that's why those tornado warnings are holding together, whereas when they try to move up into where we have already been overworked with storms and a tornado confirmed, then there's less of a threat here. But I still do not, there's that part of me that's like, do not let your guard down even over the Bowling Green area, because I'm not worried so much about this line. I'm worried about this stuff down in the middle Tennessee, guys, that still could potentially produce something in the way of a tornado.
Yeah, and it continues to work its way northeast. I have an image that was shared with
Yeah.
us, and this is courtesy of, this is from Doug Martins, who sent this in to weather at WNKY.com. By the way, if you have any photos that you do want to share, be sure to send those
Wow.
in to weather at WNKY.com. But
Wow.
that is...
There it is.
I mean, you can see the funnel, and you can see...
The base of the thunderstorm, and then the lowering of the wall cloud, and then you have the actual wedge. This is a wedge-shaped tornado. And it is wrapped, it looks like, in a lot of rain. But that's a pretty good-sized wedge. I don't know how wide it is, but that is confirmation indeed.
And that, where is that? Near the
Old
Stone
Stone.
area.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was shared with us to weather at WNKY.com. And again,
Yeah.
if you have anything to share,
My
sure.
goodness.
Share
Now, for those of you who don't know where that is, as you go out of Bowling Green, you go down 231, follow here, 231 south. Yep, we go 231, there we go. Come on down, yeah, go south.
sorry,
Push it to the north, yeah.
there we go.
Push it to the north, no, go north, no, I'm sorry, go south.
South, there
Go
we
south.
go.
Yes,
Okay.
go past Greenwood, you're driving down 231, Scottsboro, keep going, you go past Plano, and here comes the river. Yeah, here you go, Scottsboro. It's going to be right in this particular area just before you get to Alvaton. It's right in there where Old Stone is, right on the river, just almost on the river. There's Die Forward Road, so you go down just a little bit from there, and that's where the Fillmore Park is, and the Soapbox Derby track, and then across the street there is Old Stone. So that's where that picture came from, and that's where that we were tracking that cell, that tornado, that confirmed tornado as it went through there, but all is clear now. All you're getting around Plano and these areas is still some light shower activity. We're not getting the strong to severe storms. You occasionally are going to get some shower activity, but all the tornado threat is over, even though we still may get some of these showers pulling back in here. These are just kind of residuals, leftovers, if you will. And that's going to continue for at least a couple of more hours until we get the cold front in here. And Darius, I think, I don't know if you can show mesonet. Maybe through the mesonet we can see where the cold front might be. I would say it's probably just a little bit west of Bowling Green. There it is. So there we go. So you see how we're in the really warm sector of the 60s, mid 60s, and now we're starting to see temperatures falling off into the 50s from Madisonville to Calhoun to Greenville, Hartford. What that means is stability. After we've been worked and worked and worked over with these severe storms and tornadoes, now we're starting to get a more stable air mass back to the west, and there's the cold front. It's a big cold front.
That's a big one.
That's a huge
I have
cold
no
front.
idea why
Yeah,
that
it's
is
like,
so...
what is this thing about to attack us? It's a cold front.
Just delete
yeah, not to worry, folks. So as it comes on in, our temperatures are going to start to cool from west to east, and the air mass becomes more stable. So even though there's still a line or two of showers back here, none of those are severe because the instability level now has come down, and that's good news for everybody. But we're still not completely out of the woods just yet, guys.
Yeah, new report came in about severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Barron and northwestern Metcalfe counties has been canceled.
Good
has been
news.
canceled. Although the tornado watch still remains in effect until 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for South Central Kentucky.
And that tornado, excuse me, that tornado warning continues for Robertson County until 4:45, and that's where that same cell we've been watching that is held together pretty well. But remember, from about the Tennessee border down into the Nashville area, northern middle Tennessee, that's an area that hasn't been worked over yet by the storms. So it's got a lot of potential energy to feed off of, and that's why those storms keep going.
Wow.
I have some images that I'm able to share from our very own Tommy Modesto.
Okay.
He's shared this via
Tommy
X,
on the town.
formerly known as Twitter, but you can see where he is at the Super 8
Yeah,
on Cumberland
there it
Trace Road.
is.
You can
Peeled
see the damage there to the roof.
Okay, there we go. Yes. So this again is going to be over at Mel Browning Road and near the Greenwood Mall. You see Super 8 there. This is I think Super 8's on. This is the back of Super 8 on Cumberland Trace.
Yes.
Okay. And so you have the Cumberland Trace apartments back there in the background. All of this is the roof damage coming off of that particular hotel and just kind of thrown back in the woods there. So yeah, that's what you're looking at that point. So that's kind of a little bit down the street from where we were talking about Cracker Barrel and that particular area, but definitely a lot of damage, a lot of pictures now coming in from that same area, Cumberland Trace and Scottsville Road, and then across Scottsville Road would be over toward where Cracker Barrel and some of the other hotels are, where some of the damage has taken place. What about the winds? Can you pull up the winds real quick?
Yes.
Let's take a look at that. Look at that, Hartford at 28 miles per hour. Pretty good gust of wind there. Glasgow at 23. But the winds have been coming out of the south. We're going to see a wholesale change in the wind now from the west and from the northwest as that front, which is west of us, begins to cross over. So the wind still may pick up at a pretty good pace over the next several hours and through tonight, but these will be cooler winds. The temperatures are going to drop pretty dramatically tonight and tomorrow, and we still could have some showers in here. So don't worry about these gusts back here to the west. This is all way behind the severe weather, and so we're not calling for any kind of wind damage. You may get a gust of wind now and then, but other than that, it's not going to be a big problem. How about we take a look outside? Our
Let's do
AAA
it.
Systems Live weather cam from downtown Bowling Green, the only one in downtown Bowling Green. And you can see how the winds are kind of cupping some of the clouds here and giving it that little bit of a roll. That still means we've got some stronger upper winds. Some of that has transferred down to the ground, but thankfully today, those winds, some of the updrafts did not go up and grab some of the really strong winds and bring them down to the ground, or we may be looking at a lot of wind damage here, but we're not looking at that today. What we're seeing is occasionally there's some gusts of wind, especially around that tornado, that confirmed tornado itself, of course, doing the damage, but we have not seen or heard of any real paths of damage or any kind of a long-term, long-scale wind damage per se. That has not happened today, which is good because we kept those upper winds up here instead of bringing them down to the ground, and I think that saved us from having any other problems, guys.
It definitely did. Unfortunately, of course, we had the tornado warnings that went through, but definitely would have been more of a destructive situation when you consider those winds diving down.
So where are we now with that cell that's in Robertson County? Let's take a look at that.
Let's track that out, and
I want to see how close it's getting. I don't want to prolong anything here if it's not warranted.
This
Well,
is, I mean, and then this is close, I mean, to
Yeah.
Simpson County.
That's picked up a lot more lightning.
yeah, so Auburn,
This
you're
one,
picking
Auburn.
up on some activity again here. As you can see, this is the eastern part of Logan County. There's Russellville. You're going out 6880 into the Rockfield community. That black line right there is the Warren County line. So heavy rain and strong thunderstorms here again. Have you looked at velocity on this one,
Let's
Darius?
see there.
Let's take a look. It's not impressive.
No, it's not impressive
It's
at all.
it's not very tight. There's broad rotation there. But again, this is going into an area that's already been overworked from the previous storms, and so we may not see something develop there, but there may be something there that we'll just keep an eye on for right now. But really what you're getting is a lot of lightning and a lot of very heavy rain. You could also be getting some small hail there in Auburn as you travel along 6880. In fact, there's some of the hail signatures showing up, but it's on the lighter end, or the possible small pellet type stuff that's going to probably get on your vehicles and things like that around the Auburn area. But beyond that, this does not look that impressive at all. The more impressive cells are down in the middle Tennessee and moving off to the north and east. Springfield, Greenbrier, you're going down to the Rivergate area. Everybody knows where that is. And then there's Metro Nashville. Still under that, you see the purples there indicating by our radar that there's the real possibility of a tornado that's going to cross into the Metro Nashville area. Everything north of that is now running into those areas that have already been overworked in the atmosphere from heavy rain, strong winds, and thunderstorms, and that's what's happening with this line back toward Hopkinsville and stretching up toward Morgantown. This is already beginning to meet up. This line is slowing down. This line to the west is speeding up, and the two are going to meet up at the same place, maybe even over Bowling Green, bring us another round of showers and thunderstorms. But in this case, it doesn't look severe. There are no warnings with that. And that's because we've had just so much activity right here in southern Kentucky, and that confirmed tornado that really worked over the atmosphere. And now we're starting to get a more stable atmosphere as the cold front catches up with all of this activity out ahead of it. And now once that happens and these two come together, you'll see less of a severe weather threat and maybe more of a heavy rain threat, and maybe even some flash flooding, as there's a lot of moisture to work with out here. So that's the way it looks right now. You guys are seeing that as well, I'm sure.
Yes. And still, Forrest, keeping a close eye on the Robertson County, Tennessee
right there.
Storm there that, as it continues to work northeast, could impact portions of Simpson and perhaps Allen County.
So any new reports have come in? I mean, those photos and videos have been impressive.
Definitely.
I know the tornado watch is now being shaved off back to our west. They just took Todd County out of it, so it's starting to get a little bit closer now so they took, that's Todd County right there, Elkton. They've taken out Muhlenberg County, McLean County, Calhoun, but where you see the red shaded areas, that's still the valid tornado watch through 7 o'clock. And then the new tornado watch out east of that goes till 11. And that's going to take in most of southeastern Kentucky and the Cumberland Plateau, but that's out of our viewing area. But here, our immediate WNKY News 40 viewing area, a lot of that back edge is being shaved off. And as you saw, it's because the temperatures are coming down, stable, drier air is starting to work in here behind this system. And so these are not intense thunderstorms. A lot of this is just heavy rain. The intense stuff is still down into middle Tennessee.
That is where most of the energy is, and again, a lot of the storms just developing behind, just kind of backfilling, like training all the way down into Mississippi as well. And this, I mean, look at these severe warnings.
South,
I mean, it goes all the way through, say, there towards Arkansas. I mean, it extends all the way up through Tennessee there.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night for anybody from, say, south of Nashville down to Huntsville, Alabama, into northern Mississippi. This area has not been worked at all by the atmosphere, and all day, some of these locations have seen a lot of sunshine today through the clouds. And so the instability factor is highest once you get south of Nashville and really east of Nashville. But I think because we've had a lot of cloud cover from Bowling Green to Glasgow and even out toward Somerset, at those locations, even up toward Campbellsville and Columbia and on up 65 to E-Town, where we've had rain already and these strong storms, everything is becoming more stable now, and there's less of an environment for additional tornadoes. And I was just scrolling through some of my comments and some of social media, and it's like, is this place going to get a tornado? Is that place going to get a tornado? And it's many of you that are east of Bowling Green and east of I-65 that is asking that question. The answer is it's still questionable, it's still possible, especially once you get up into, say, Allen County, Barron County, Monroe County, Metcalfe County, Adair County, and so forth and so on. This has not been worked over by any of these storms just yet, but your saving grace right now, if there is a blessing in disguise, is that we're getting to sunset and we're getting close to nighttime. And so naturally, a lot of this will begin to die off. Plus, as I mentioned, that cold front is sitting right here back toward Hopkinsville. And so it's catching up with all of this prefrontal activity. And so once that happens, it forms one big line. We get into nighttime, and then everything just becomes rain and thunderstorms and less of a tornado threat. But until that time, this is why we don't let our guard down, because there's still a tornado warning just barely south of the Kentucky border. And that's something we need to watch, especially for you guys watching us in Franklin and Simpson County at this point.
Yes, and the latest with this storm in Robertson County, Tennessee, as they have just now issued a new tornado warning there that does say confirmed, and that is just bordering Simpson County.
Yeah, Robertson and Sumner County until 5 o'clock. New tornado warning. And so this even takes in the Portland area and on up to just south of the border, up toward the Mitchellville area. We'll zoom in on that. There's Mitchellville, there's Portland. And so you see this purple shade. The reason why that's all purple shaded there and flashing in red, the flashing in red indicates a tornado warning. The purple color indicates this is a confirmed tornado. And again, this is coming over an area that has not been worked over by the storms earlier. And so it has plenty of available moisture to work with, plenty of available convection and energy. There's potential energy always in these type of situations. And so with the available energy, we've got territory that hasn't been hit yet with anything, and it's ample breeding ground for these rotating storms. So if you live from Mitchellville to just south of Franklin along 31W, there's 65. You know, there's the Kentucky Downs area right in there. Anywhere in that area, you need to be on the watch, because it's this cell coming out of Springfield or Linda, Cross Plains, coming across 52 and 25, and even up 65 and 31W and 109 as it heads to the border. That's where you need to be aware that a confirmed tornado is headed that direction.
We've got a storm that's crossing over here into Warren County, downtown Bowling Green, but no severe warning.
Yes. Heavy rain, we can hear.
Heavy rain that we are getting, and some lightning.
Yeah, I caught some on the live cam.
Let's take a look at the live AAA system.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. It's brief heavy rain, but again, you can see how it's kind of shading off some of the hills back down toward the Russellville Road area. This is looking off to the west and the southwest. You can see the Hyatt Hotel there close to campus. There is campus. There's Western Kentucky University. Here's downtown Bowling Green, the Twin Towers, Justice Center, and all of that in the view. And you can see how the ceilings here are pretty low. We've got the clouds that are coming down, and it doesn't mean it's going to form a tornado. This is all just now become more of a heavy rain type situation and not a severe thunderstorm or tornado type situation. A lot of the spin that's out there has moved east of us. So this is not anything like what we saw before with the incredible video of actual tornadoes and damage and all that. This is just rainfall that's on the back edge just ahead of the cold front, which is going to come through here in the next couple of hours and push all this out of the way. Then it gets colder, and you're going to feel a big difference by this time tomorrow. I mean, it's really going to feel chilly around here. And some of you may even see a few snowflakes. I mean, I really can't rule out that possibility with any leftover moisture in that cold front coming in. As temperatures dive from the 40s tomorrow into the 20s tomorrow night, some of you could see a few snowflakes mixing in on the tail end of this system. It's not going to amount to very much, and you may not even see that, but it's a possibility as this much colder air comes in with the front, and it's that clash between the very warm, humid air out ahead of the front and the front itself, which is now about Hopkinsville and moving across, that is going to bring in the much colder air as we get into tonight even.
Yeah, sharply cooler tomorrow with a touch of some wintry stuff. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say about Kentucky weather other than that. I don't know how much more that gets, you know.
It's fickle.
So.
It's fickle. I've said that before. It's fickle. Those of you that have watched me for years, you know I love that word. It's fickle. And that's why sometimes we get this kind of weather in December. And it's happened before, and now it's happening again. And it's just where we sit directly north of the Gulf of Mexico, and these storm systems come in like this, and you get the right ingredients at the right time, and this is what you can have. The weather doesn't pay attention to the calendar. It doesn't pay attention to county lines or straight lines or interstates or any of those things. The weather does what it does, and it doesn't matter when it happens. It's happening, and we've seen confirmation of that today, unfortunately, on almost the 2-year anniversary of what happened back in 2021.
Yes, I'm getting more images here, specifically where those motels are. This is the Microtel by Cracker Barrel, where I'm getting images of just more damage there, and I'm going to try to see if I can
Try to get that up there?
Get that up real fast.
Yeah. And again, we appreciate y'all sending in those images to us, because you know what we want more than anything? We don't want to see damage. I mean, we don't want to see that. We hope that that doesn't happen, but when it does happen, that gives the visual confirmation of what we've been talking about for the last several hours. And we want you to see it so you know exactly how serious this particular situation is or has been, and continues to be that way for some, especially in northern Middle Tennessee. And my concern is here with these cells still moving off to the northeast, that it could really affect Franklin and maybe Scottsville, Glasgow, and some other locations here. The good news for you guys is that you've already had some rain and thunderstorms, and maybe that's going to bring down that severe weather threat a little bit. And especially right now in Franklin, you're getting a lot of rain and not really thunderstorm activity, so that's good. So that's very good, but our concern is that cell coming out of north of Springfield in toward the Portland area, Mitchellville, and over where Kentucky Downs is located. If it holds together, then you know, that's a confirmed tornado. That's what our really main concern is right now, that could affect you guys right there along the Kentucky-Tennessee border.
So this is image or a video that was shared in with from Patrick Carey, and he's out there, and it looks like this is the looks like the Super 8.
The Super 8.
Mm-hmm. Just from a different angle there, but you can see the damage.
There's a storage bin. I know this area well. I used to live over there at Cumberland Trace. So this is on Cumberland Trace Road. It is where they're building all those new apartments and houses back there in the back. This is a storage bin that's there for the Super 8 motel. Cumberland Trace Road is right in front of this. And then down the street a little bit is Cumberland Trace Apartments. So that's what we're looking at, some definite damage there. Just how strong that tornado was, though, is still remains to be seen. Really, the National Weather Service will probably send out a crew at some point and do some damage surveys, and they'll take a look at all of this damage. They'll take a look at the twisting. That's Cumberland Trace Apartments right there. So it almost hit those apartments, if not hitting the outer edge of those apartments on Cumberland Trace Road, and there's the Super 8. So Patrick getting some really good footage there of all that. Yeah, that's Cumberland Trace Apartments. I lived there for a couple of years before moving where I live now, so I know exactly where that location is. So we've got damage there, damage over toward the La Quinta Inn, which is on the Mel Browning side of Scottsville Road and right there at the I-65 interchange. So definitely it cut a path. That tornado cut a path right through Cumberland Trace and then went on down into almost to Alvaton, where we saw that video of the tornado. Now we're starting to get a path. We can see a visual path now of where that took place. Greenwood, all the way down Scottsville Road 231, right there where the river is, and or Trammell Creek and those locations, Drake's Creek, I should say, and those areas. That's where that tornado took a path. How much damage it did along that is questionable at this point, aside from what we just saw. But what it did back to the west, we don't know yet. But definitely it's done some damage, and that's always a concern. But I have not heard of any injuries. I've not heard of any, fatalities or anything like that. By now, I think, guys, we probably would have heard if there were something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Latest on this storm that's into Tennessee. Looks like we are seeing still some rotation with that storm that's towards
right in
Robertson and Sumner counties there into northern Tennessee there. And
Orlinda, Cross Plains,
Yeah.
they're 65. And so those roads that go through there would be Tennessee 25 and 52. 52 right there goes all the way over to Portland. And then that's 31W that goes into Mitchellville. This would be Highway 109 as it meets up with Interstate 65 just a little bit south of Kentucky Downs. And so this is the most intense part of the storm right here, right over the Orlinda area and just north of Cross Plains. My concern would be this area right here where we're seeing that little notch and that little S-curve. That's right in there. That's probably where the better potential energy is and where there may be still a bit of rotation. I don't know. You can take a look at velocity there. It's not really that great, but what I'm seeing here more, this is a gust front right here. That's wind that is pushing out ahead of that main storm. And so we're looking at winds inbound, outbound, anywhere from 15 to 35, but I would say that right there, and where you see that bright red lining up, that is a gust front. That is potential for damaging winds as it moves into Cross Plains. And so with all the heavy rain that's coming with it, we could see some downed trees if they're not firmly rooted, and maybe some small trees, probably bending over or coming up rooted. And that's a possibility there, anywhere from Orlinda down to Cross Plains as it comes across Highway 25. And that's more of what I'm seeing here. Yeah, there it is. So this is less of a tornado threat, I think, now, and becoming more of a straight line wind event, which is typical of what I was just talking about a few moments ago, when you get the main line moving and slowing down a bit, and the secondary line with the cold front starting to meet up with this energy. They tend to fight each other for a little bit, and then they congeal. Then they kind of come together into one big line of strong storms. Few of those could be severe, but they become less tornadic because when the cold front comes in with a little bit of stable air behind it and all of this nasty humid air out ahead of it, well, they tend to fight each other for a little bit over territory, and then finally that cold air is more dense than the warm air, and the warm air finally gives up, and we get just a solid line of thunderstorms that roll through, and it becomes more about heavy rain than it does about tornadoes. But the tornado threat is still there. Obviously, the Nashville Weather Service office is still saying that's a possibility, and that's our concern, is that now it's going to move into our territory, into southern Simpson County and just south of Franklin. I mean, Franklin's not that far north of the Tennessee border. So the concern is there, we still could have something. After all, that was a confirmed tornado. Whether it's still there or not remains to be seen, unless you've got something new over there.
Not seeing anything as far as, what you just described. I mean, it looks like more of a wind event at the moment with the storm. But we're also now starting to see some of the heavy rain cross over into southern Simpson County there towards Providence and Schweizer area. And you're also likely getting some lightning and maybe even some small hail embedded as well at this time in those communities.
But all of this is starting to look more, what I said earlier, that term stratiform. It's more of just a big blob of rain, and some of it's heavy, and yes, there's some gust of wind in there, but now that the cold front is meeting up with this has slowed down, This has picked up forward speed, and now the two are coming together in what will become one big line of storms. And from here on out, from I-65 east, it's going to become more of a line of thunderstorms. Some of those may be strong, but the tornado threat is going to go way down now that we're kind of at dusk and we're starting to see less instability. There's still plenty out here to be, I guess, it's almost like putting out crops. You know, you've tilled the ground here. We've got a lot of instability and stuff, and so there's still plenty of landscape here, if you will, to navigate and to maybe see a few strong storms. But I really think at this point, the tornado threat is going to start to go down, not only for us, but right along the Kentucky-Tennessee border and heading over toward the Cumberland Plateau, the Lake Cumberland area, Dale Hollow Lake, Green River Lake, in those general areas, you're going to start to see just more of a line of heavy rain and maybe occasional strong to severe thunderstorm threat. But the tornado threat, I think now is going to be more south and east of the Nashville area. As you head out I-40 east and toward the Cookeville area, that's where I would say for the next few hours, that's where that's going to take place.
And I mean, and that does look to be the case, and that's where most of the strongest part of the storm right now is south of the Kentucky-Tennessee border.
Yeah.
Just south of Simpson County right now. And this is also what it's showing now is that there has been a new tornado warning issued near the Nashville area from the National Weather Service there. So again, this is all continuing east, and it looks like north of I-40 across central and middle Tennessee, or middle Tennessee, I should say.
Any new reports, Noah?
Yes, a new report from the National Weather Service in Louisville. A strong thunderstorm will impact Grayson and southwestern Hardin counties through 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. They're basically just saying, just look out for this storm. It's going to pack a punch with some gusty winds up to 40, possibly 45 miles an hour, and some small hail. And some of the main impacts with the gusty winds can knock down some tree limbs and blow around some unsecured objects. So, like, make sure to just have, like, some of your stuff already tied down for your Christmas decorations or anything like that. So just stay aware that you can still have some stronger storms out there.
Yeah, so no warning for Grayson, no severe thunderstorm warning for Grayson or Hardin counties, but they are dealing with a strong storm. So.
Well, the only reason I want to just watch any longer, and I really don't want to prolong this any further than we have to, is just that one cell right there coming right toward Portland and Mitchellville and just south of Franklin. Once we see that is less of a threat, then I think we're going to be okay from this point forward. And that goes for any of you watching to the east of us. Yeah, there's still going to be a threat, but I don't think it's going to be as much of a threat as it has been earlier this afternoon, simply because of the reasons I just mentioned. The instability factors are coming down. There's less energy to deal with, even though we're still seeing a few thunderstorms. That cell still looks, there's still a little bit of a something there. You know what I'm seeing?
There's some real
right
tension there.
There's some
southeast of
Orlinda. Yeah.
And just west of I-65 there. So,
yeah.
And I'm going to circle it just to show you guys what we are all looking at here.
Yeah, so where the green meets up with the red, that's inbound meeting up with outbound winds. Most of this is still just linear in that it's mostly straight line wind, except for that one spot. And it's moving northeast, and my concern is if it stays on that course and if it tightens up anymore, then we could be looking at a tornado threat for southern Simpson County and maybe a little sliver of Allen County as well if it holds together.
Yeah, that is our concern as the storm is making its way northeast this hour. So, and although the National Weather Service office in Nashville, of course, they cover Tennessee, so
Yeah.
we would have to wait to see what the National Weather Service in Louisville is going to do with this, because I know they are also following this storm closely as well, just as closely as we are.
Also, another thing to mention too, if you are traveling like from Bowling Green, you think, hey, it's done storming here, and you go down to the south, it's not over. I'm pretty sure possibly around I-65, around the tornado warning area with the confirmed one, I'm pretty sure they're going to have some road closures and stuff like that. So just think about other ways how severe weather can impact you and your daily commute. So just be mindful, be careful, and drive safe. But if you are in that particular area, make sure just probably, pull over to a gas station, just let the storm pass just a little bit, and then you can go on your way.
Latest scans showing some heavy rain and perhaps even some small hail embedded with the storm now towards the Flat Rock community there into southern Simpson County. And this, again, Simpson County, you're not under any severe warning at this time, but you do have a tornado warned storm that is just south of you into Tennessee. So, and we are, of course, going to continue to keep you guys updated on any of these storms that are working their way through. But in the meantime, it looks like a lot of the storms west, not really producing any warnings out there, especially towards Butler County. Just a lot of gusty winds and even some lightning out there. But again, the focus is what's happening with this storm into Simpson County, whether or not there will be a tornado warning issued for this area. But we are noticing that the storm just south of Simpson County has that confirmed tornado warning tag with it, and that will go through about 5 o'clock there towards Robertson and Sumner counties there into Tennessee. Not in our immediate viewing area, but again, something to focus on as this storm is working its way across Simpson County right now. Yeah,
just mainly through our western communities, they're just seeing just some garden variety showers, thunderstorms. Nothing too serious as what we were dealing with earlier today. But as we continue throughout the rest of the evening, and if you have any plans, they might be either delayed or just possibly just not going to happen because of the circumstances of what we experienced today as well. But just going forth, you're definitely going to run into some more showers, definitely some more thunderstorms. These thunderstorms are not as strong as what's going on down to the south, such as Nashville, and definitely not as strong as what we saw earlier today that went through Warren County. Now, with that being said, there's a new threat that will come along with it too, like more flooding as well, and then we still get out some gusty winds with some of these storms, so that could loosen up the soil with some of the trees and stuff like that, and could possibly have a few isolated trees fall down throughout the area. So just definitely keep that in mind too, especially if you're driving and then you just think it's all really good. See, look at that. Look at that live cam for sure. You can definitely see.
Yeah, and just to give you guys another look at what's going on, we do have that tornado watch that goes through about 7. I do think that once the storm that's currently into Robertson and their southern counties in Tennessee, and we'll see what happens here for Simpson County and Allen counties, but once we kind of see if there's going to be a new warning or anything issued, we'll be able to determine whether or not we can pretty much return back to regular programming, because at this point, this is where we are focused on the potential for more severe weather is really in this area here towards Simpson and Allen County, as this storm is just bordering that. So, and of course, it has a tornado warning with it. Back to radar, and here is the latest view. So far, looks like the storm is now crossing into Simpson County. Nothing new as far as warnings go with the National Weather Service. As I'm looking at the chat, I'm not seeing anything new issued here.
Yeah, it just looks like a lot of very heavy rain on 31W south of Franklin as you head toward the border, and 65, and even over toward places like Blackjack and Gold City. some of those locations just getting a lot of very heavy rain. There's no lightning that's showing up with any of this. So the convective energy that I was talking about earlier has gone way down already, and the cold front has yet to even come through. So once this runs into these places which have already picked up some rain and strong thunderstorm activity, then it negates a bit the severe weather threat, and there's not as much of a tornado threat with any of this. That warning is going to continue, but it may look to expire even before it's supposed to here in a few minutes, simply because there's just not quite that signature that we had a little bit earlier when it was back here north of Nashville. Yeah, there's a little bit of a couplet there. But it's more of a broad rotation, and it's more of a straight line wind event now that's parallel with Interstate 65 and Highway 52 as it goes over toward Portland, and then 109 as it stretches up to Interstate 65. So think Franklin, you're fine. Anywhere south of Bowling Green, you're fine. Gold City, it's just going to be some heavy rain for a little bit longer as we get into the darkness of night. And as far as any severe weather threat, notice here back to the west, all of this is weakening. We still got a pretty good line of showers from Litchfield through Morgantown and just west of Bowling Green. We're still occasionally getting some shower activity here, but no lightning, no rumbles of thunder. All of that is down around the metro Nashville area, and it's going to continue to move off to the east. And you notice here, guys, it's starting to take more of an easterly track instead of a northeasterly track, which is certainly some good news.
That is great news to hear, and it looks like this is all just moving now ahead of the cold front. The cold front is now catching up with the rain, and we are now watching all of this now starting to where it looks like it's moving more so eastward than what it had earlier, where it was southwest northeast. We're actually seeing that line where they were kind of actually broken apart initially. If we go back to the previous scans, but they're now starting to
congeal. Which is what I was saying was going to happen, because I could see this line slowing down, and now the cold front is making some forward momentum, and that's going to help bring down the instability that's over our area. So things are not going to be quite as hectic as they were just a couple of hours ago. And there you're seeing the view from our AAA Systems live camera, and we're looking south and southwest. Look at those clouds. I mean, this, I think, is the actual back edge of this entire system that we're seeing coming this way. I know when you look at this, you may think, is that a tornado? Is that something that, no, it's not even close. It's just a wall of clouds that's moving our direction. This is some of the colder air that's starting to come in, and I bet, Darius, if you pull up the Mesonet network, we'll look back just west of us and we'll start to see the colder air taking over, and that's why we're seeing this kind of a view with the clouds and the rains. Yeah, it's 63 here, still 63 toward Woodbury and Morgantown, and then we're seeing those 50s starting to come in with that cold front. Yes, Noah?
Yeah, we just got a new National Weather Service tornado warning issued for portions for southeastern Simpson County and south central Kentucky and southwestern Allen County.
They have it looks like they are now extending that warning now. So that's what we were concerned about.
At 4:48 p.m. Central Standard Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Portland, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour.
Okay, there it is.
So let's pull up velocity.
Yeah, let's pull up. And again, we're not seeing anything really tight. I think this is more of a precautionary type situation more than anything else. But that tornado warning just takes in, it doesn't take in Franklin, just south of Franklin, so it's going to take in Mitchellville, it's going to take in Gold City, it's going to take in Blackjack, it's going to go out Highway 100 over toward Scottsville, but it takes in Chapel Hill, Red Hill, Alonzo, Barnes Ford, Allen Springs, Halfway, Mount Ariel, McElroy, Ford, Clare community, the Petroleum community, that's along 31E. as you're coming out of Tennessee, out of the Gallatin, or actually Westmoreland, Bethpage area, and you start to go up into the Kentucky area, and the old 31E splits off from that. That's where Petroleum, Adolphus is in that same area underneath that new tornado warning. So there are your times, approximated times, and I do think that this is more of what I would say is a precautionary extra step that the Weather Service has taken. Most likely, the Louisville National Weather Service has coordinated with the Nashville Weather Service office, and they said, you know what, that's still showing some characteristics of what could be a tornado. There's nothing confirmed. Notice it did not say confirmed tornado, but I think they went ahead and just put in that little piece there just in case, because it's still showing some available potential energy, and that's why that warning is still taking place.
So yeah, so that it is for Simpson and Allen counties. This goes until 5:15.
Yeah.
So
Okay. That's
So this is,
Yes,
you know,
we
this
got
is
some more
one of
time.
those cases I was just talking about where it's like you think you're done. You think it's over, and then here we go again with another little piece of energy that just doesn't want to give up. It's still got that little piece left, and it's going to spend that energy over places that have not seen that energy spend. But on the northern, notice the northern part of this particular cell is running, is more widespread and more stratiform. In other words, it's more about heavy rain than it is anything else. So Gold City, yeah, you're under the warning, but just take heed that there's still that possibility there could be a tornado embedded in there somewhere. Go to the velocity scan if you would. And again, what we're looking at is right near the Mitchellville area, right in that little divot where Kentucky dips down a little bit right there, where Kentucky Downs is located. You can see the reds meeting up with the greens. It's a very broad rotation. What I'm seeing mostly is what looks like more of a gust front type situation, but within that, you can still get a brief spin up. It wouldn't be a big tornado like we saw earlier. It wouldn't be anything like that. It would just be something that's small and brief, and then it just goes away. So let's hope that's the case as we go through this, this next warning.
yeah, I'm not seeing any, I'm not seeing anything. This is, of course, looking broad, but also when we look at any tornado debris, I'm not seeing anything really that's sticking out to me either.
Try going to the Fort Campbell just to get a different perspective on the velocity. Just a contrast and compare. Yeah, it's very fragmented. I mean, there's something there, but it's not the kind of, you know, something that's just red flag. It says, hello, here we are. That's a tornado. It would be probably rain wrapped. There's a lot of rain in that area. It's going to be hard to see. And now that we're at nightfall, it's going to be extra hard to see. Try going from the Louisville velocity. Let's try that just to see if we can see. Yeah, I was afraid it was going to be even more fragmented, but even that, at that tilt and that angle, it's picking up on something.
Something.
There.
I mean, I saw something move. It's
Yeah, it's not very defined, well defined. That's a little more defined, of course. That's from the Nashville Doppler radar view. And we're getting at least one or two lightning strikes there. But, you know, if this were a bit tighter, yeah, but it's just showing a very broad rotation at this point. You got something, Noah?
No. It was a tornado warning that expired for Franklin, Kentucky, like all the way up there.
Oh, across central
Franklin
Kentucky.
County, which is
Yeah.
Frankfort, the
Lexington
capital.
They're seeing business up there too.
Okay.
It's basically the whole central portions, western and central portions of Kentucky. But
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is just a very broad area of rain with that one little spot there that's maybe has a little spin to it. But I think mostly, especially with this part of the storm, that's mostly going to be straight line winds, where you see that bowing segment right there. There could be that possibility of a little spin right there where that bows out just a little bit, just east of Mitchellville, right in there. It's a possibility. So I think that was a good call from the National Weather Service just to keep that in there in case. But let's hope that as it gets more into Kentucky, Simpson County, Allen County, that it just kind of, becomes more about rain than anything else.
Yes, and and the good news is that this doesn't look, when you look at the velocity, it didn't look as impressive as what we had earlier that rolled through Logan County and Warren County. But nonetheless, it's definitely a good call to still take this precaution, because this had a confirmed tornado warning with it, and there still is the possibility for a quick spin up with this storm.
Yeah, those spin-ups are going to become less likely, though, the more we get into the evening hours and the more into darkness we get. The stability takes over, and then that cold front that's back west of us will take over, and that will negate any severe weather threat once it comes on through. And it's not that far away from us, still maybe an hour or two back west of us, but once it comes on through, then all of the severe weather threat will be over pretty much for the News 40 viewing area. And, south of Nashville, that's where the worst of the weather is going to continue into the overnight hours. As you head south of Nashville toward Huntsville, Alabama, maybe even Chattanooga, Tennessee, they're still waiting on all of this. But we're spending all that energy here now and getting it out of the way for us so we can go to bed tonight and not worry about these storms being with us during the overnight hours. We get it all done right now, which is good.
That is a better time window. If there's any time window to have severe weather, which we don't like having severe weather, but if there's any time window to have it, it's better to have it when everyone's awake.
Right now,
So.
yeah, absolutely. Any more damage reports? Are we getting anything? That's the thing that gets me, is that we've seen some damage, and we saw video of the tornado. You may want to bring that back up, Darius, for people that haven't seen it yet.
Yes, let's pull up these images.
But I'm not hearing that much.
I'm not getting anything from the National Weather Service yet.
Which is good. Which is
Shared in,
absolutely good.
From Patrick Harry, who was over towards looks like Cumberland Trace Apartments in the Super
8
motel there, and you see the damage from the roof.
Yeah.
They're nearly, or at least nearly hitting the complex there.
And you look at this is just the metal roofing that's on top of the main roof. It's damaged enough, but if you look at that Super 8 motel again on Cumberland Trace, the roof is still there. It's just this red metal part of the roof that was peeled off as that storm came by. So that's the extent of the damage that we're seeing right now. And then we had that footage of the actual tornado as it was going through the Old Stone community, which is down toward Alvaton as you're going out Scottsville Road and 231 a little bit earlier. Some pretty impressive video from that, and we'll pull that up for you to let you see. It was a nice big wedge tornado, probably about a quarter mile wide.
Yeah.
I would say this is the bottom of this is the base, the thunderstorm base itself, and then the wall cloud and the lowering of the wall cloud, and this is the actual funnel, and this is more of a wedge tornado. This is not your stovepipe tornado or the perfect ones you see in the movies necessarily, and that's why we cautioned you to not go out and try to chase a tornado or try to get video, because as you see here, a lot of that was rain wrapped. I can't tell if it was actually touching the ground or not.
It's hard to see.
It's hard to see from that vantage point, but it probably was just off the ground a little bit. But I can almost visualize the scud that we call it here rotating around that tornado, and then with the upper air rising into that thunderstorm, you could see all these little fragments just kind of lift slowly into the air, and some of them were probably rotating around that big wedge. But that's pretty impressive for December, and to see it with that kind of a view, that's very impressive.
You might as well hit the lottery, I guess.
Well, Yeah.
First, the December 10th tornadoes, and then we had the 2 weeks later, we had the New Year's tornado.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that.
And then the windstorm of this year. Now this, you know what? We are really on a roll.
Wow.
On a roll.
I know.
But in the worst way possible, I guess.
I still see this weakening. I don't know about you guys, but
It doesn't look
just
as
looks more-
impressive.
just really not. And even there with the velocity, it just does not look that impressive. I mean, I can't look at this and say, yeah, I agree, there's a tornado in there like we did earlier with the actual confirmed tornado. This is not a confirmed tornado. This is just radar indicated a possibility. And again, I think this warning has been put out just as a precautionary measure because part of this area, a little sliver of Simpson County and a little sliver of the Allen County area, I think is in that area that has not been really overworked with these storms. And so as a precaution, the Weather Service said, the way these things have been weakening and then coming back and then regenerating, the cyclogenesis taking place, let's not overthink this thing, but let's put out this precautionary extension of the tornado warning that was out of Tennessee, just in case something does develop here. But so far, that hasn't happened. And you know, occasionally I see the lights flicker in here, like you know, maybe there's some lightning or something going on that's doing that, or it could just be, you know, with everything going on here.
I know that you mentioned that there were power outages
Yeah.
in the area, so.
Yeah, I think that's the possibility. What else do we see south of this?
South of this, a lot of this is now across.
See, this is all moving east now.
Yes,
Which
and
is
that is
good.
good. That's great to hear. It's
Yeah.
good to know that this is not moving north towards our
Right.
area.
So I think a lot of you east of Scottsville and over toward T-ville, Tompkinsville, in that general area, the Lake Cumberland, Dale Hollow Lake region, I think you're going to be okay. I think you're just going to be more about heavy rain at this point. And notice now, everything has met up. We're not in quite a line yet, but right in here is, and that's why we're getting some heavy rain right now as I speak in Bowling Green. This is all congealing into one big line of storms, and that's what's going to continue. This is all going to squeeze together. The back edge where the cold front is catching up with all of this, and now it's after dark. We're losing the heating of the day, the best energy, and all of this is just going to push off to the east as some heavy rain, occasionally gusty wind, some rumbles of thunder now and then. But as far as like a big severe weather threat, I think all of that now is just going to slowly, gradually die away over the next few hours. The better energy is now being spent south of us, south of Nashville and along I-40 to the east of Nashville, and that takes all that best potential energy, takes it away from us and uses it down here more into Middle Tennessee, southern Middle Tennessee. As you go 65 south of Nashville, you go 24 west or east out of Murfreesboro down toward Chattanooga. All those areas are just fresh territory to spend some energy even after dark as that front comes on through. So I think once we're out of this, this is all just going to become what we're hearing right now, just a lot of heavy rain.
And it looks like they shaved off part of that warning for portions of Simpson County, but this still includes areas near Gold City and just really an eastern sliver of Simpson County,
Yeah.
and then western Allen County there into
Well,
515.
I think just based on everything that we're seeing right now, and even though this warning is going to continue for just a little bit longer, we're probably going to begin to wrap up our coverage here because, you know, here it is just after 5 o'clock and everything is starting to wind down. That's not to say you're not going to get a gusty wind, or you're not going to get rumbles of thunder and occasionally some heavy rain. That may continue for several more hours until this cold front, which is just west of us, comes on through, and it will during the next 3 to 4 hours. It is going to be done with as far as the severe weather, and especially these leftovers here. Now all of this is turning more east instead of coming up to the northeast. So that's a good sign for us that the best energy is pushing away, and we're not going to have to worry about any further severe weather as we go through the night. So guys, Darius, Noah, thank you. Connor Jones back behind the switcher, making all of this happen. Thank you all for watching our severe weather coverage this afternoon. We hated to take away time from the regular things that are on the networks, NBC and CBS, but we thank you for trusting us with your weather coverage. Thank you for watching, and God bless.